talk about coffee or me. We're here to talk about Morrowind. And I'm not going to do that on my own. I still have my desktop showing. Hang on, let me clean up a bit. Perfect. So I am not going to do that on my own. We have a guest model today, none other than James Bond. No, none other than Vegetto. Vegetto, welcome on in. There we go.
Hey, hi Danae.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure
Hi,
to have
everybody.
you. Before we get started, you know how it works, chat. We need you to tell us who is too loud and who is too quiet so that you can very quiet. I've already cranked it up, but say a few more words for us, Vegetto, please.
Yes, of course. Hi, everybody. I hope my volume is good enough.
That sounds good
a bit
on
louder,
my end.
maybe.
No, I don't think you do. Is that better, chat? Sounds good to you? I could still give him a little bit of gain. Sounds good. All right. I trust you. I have to be more quiet. Wow. It's like, okay, then but shut up. Clearly, they're here to listen to you and not to me. That's how it is. How have you been?
Ah, well, everything fine. Can't complain. Life is quite good. So, yeah. Lately a bit busy, so maybe you have noticed a bit of lack of presence lately on the Nexus, but everything fine. Just a bit busy on my own things.
You know what? Busy is good. It's better than have nothing going on, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think. Too busy for too long is a problem, but hey. Guys, I suppose you've already noticed that gorgeous main screen I have going on for my Morrowind game, because Vegetto has created a whole bunch of things. Like, I actually went through all of your mods and I was like, oh yeah, there's that and there's that, oh, and that. Basically, your stuff are all over my Vardenfell.
I have to say, I had the same going on my own mods. I didn't realize how many things I have done.
Yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot.
Indeed. And so, yeah, on this one, I have to say that that's more a cooperation, because that's one typical of those mods that RandomPal contact me and says, I've seen a video. You don't know what it is. It's awesome. And was that video?
And I really like the artist. Crap, now I forgot the name.
It's a very Swedish, I think.
Netherlands. I think from the Netherlands. Oh crap.
Yeah.
And I know because I follow him on Twitter. He does a lot of things. Basically, it's more Elder Scrolls Online art, but a lot of it is for Morrowind. And oh crap, I'm a terrible person. I should have kept that ready so I could give you the link, guys. I'll fix it straight away. If I go main menu, which I am not finding, obviously. It's always like that, and I thought I was ready. I'll find the link and plop it in there. And you also...
I think it's on the mod page.
Exactly. That's where I'm going. You actually did 2 replaces for the main title, I think.
Yes, indeed. I did 2. The other one, it's more, yeah. I used more, let's say, various screenshots and animated them myself using some tricks. While instead, this one, it's really an animation from
Ilona.
Indeed,
I found the name.
Yeah.
Ilona. Great stuff.
And
check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And so we contacted her and asked if we could have used it, for a menu.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meanwhile, also the logo, I have to say, come from another artist, which I tried to contact multiple times, unfortunately, without success. And I left them then a message to say, hey, I'm modifying your logo, applying it. Please contact me if there's any issue about it. But I'm happy he didn't, so I hope it's still good. Yes, I just find it a very nice animation and menu to build. Well, I made it a bit more classy, if we want. So yeah, this I use some screens indeed from ISO, mainly ISO, I have to say, and I animated that.
So
two different ones.
They are, but I like the style. It doesn't go very well with my Morrowind, but it's still pretty. If you want something like that, I really like the sharpness of the font.
Yeah.
Children of Radiation, welcome back. Is Vegetto a Khajiit?
Yes.
We were just discussing that.
Me.
It's true. It's true. It's just like, I don't know, there's a little bit of the R's rolling, but the smoothness of the voice, like seriously. Maybe you need to voice act for Khajiits.
I take this as a compliment.
Yeah. It is. It definitely is.
Who knows? Maybe one day I will indeed apply for it. One of my wildest dreams.
We'll see. Maybe the next time Billy Fighter has a quest mod, he's adding a bit of voice in there.
I would be more than happy to do so.
Like, I feel like now it's everything you say. I'm hearing Khajiit, and it's like.
Yeah, once it has been said, now it's
exactly.
It's unavoidable.
Exactly. Now, nobody told you, but I create a test character and I make a terrible pun with your name and tester. So Vegettoster is the character I'm creating to take a look at your mods. No, Gregor, he's not French, he's Italian. It's like we're having Italian guests these days. Abbott last week, Vegetto this week. I'm sure at some point RandomPal will agree to join again, but we've already done one with RandomPal. And in 3 hours, we barely had enough time to visit the main cities. So we definitely need more. Anyhow. Wheat, moon, sugar. No, I'm too shy. I won't even try to speak Khajiit anymore. Not in front of the master. Exactly. You know who to contact. We don't need that. Okay.
Feel free. I'll be more than happy. It's one of those things I didn't do yet. Doing something about voicing. So I would be more than happy to go into such an adventure.
Now, we can do something together, because a few years ago I was curious about how to give voices to NPCs, and so I recorded the lines of Terana, and then I injected them in her dialogue. My voice acting was terrible because, well, it was not good, but I know I worked out how to give the lines to an NPC, so we can pick a Khajiit, and I'm happy to do the construction set work for you, and you do the sexy, smooth Khajiit voice.
I think the mod is still in my load order, honestly.
Voice Terana?
Yes. Indeed.
I don't think I've ever had the courage to go and listen to it again after I did it. Maybe it's not as bad as I remember. I don't know, but...
It is not. It's not bad. I know, always hearing your own voice, it's always a bit strange. But I can tell you from outside, it sounds very good.
Thank you. But I'm gonna let you do the Khajiit anyway. All right. we're in Seydenine, and there's a couple of things that we want to see. The first one, we're going to take a look at the trees.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is one of the last mods that you put. No, the latest mod that you published.
Indeed, it's the latest mod, and yeah, it's the mod that probably made Dark Elf Guy the angriest he has been in 2021.
The angriest.
Yes, because I touched the verticality, indeed, of those awesome trees.
It is true. It is true. Because the original Grat trees are like huge, and
Yes.
and this is like tiny. I mean,
Yeah, well, those actually are still the the giant version.
yes, I know. I picked the big roots because, come on.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and that's the reason I did the giant roots version, because I was just too evil to miniaturize everything.
I agree. I agree. Tell us a little bit how you made the mod, about Melchior's original trees as well. Tell us everything.
So, yeah, of course, I tried Melchior mod, and I found the trees, I think, like many, amazing. It really gave this sense of swamp, as the place should be. And yeah, with this coverage, indeed, and wonderful leaves, of course. So I was amazed, but at the same time, and that's, I already say it's my own preference, I always try to, I think I am in a middle way between a vanilla Morrowind and a upgraded version of it. And so, yeah, I looked at the trees and they were just too tall for me. They were really going sky high. And as well, my FPS were going incredibly. So I said, let's try to cut them a bit.
Trim, just a trim.
Just a trim, exactly. I really said I can just leave the first layer that makes a bit of a coverage for the sky. And that's what I did. So I opened them in Blender and started working on them to cut them out. And actually, that's the result. It's really more also a way for the ones like me that enjoy the mod, but do not want the extra so incredible tall trees. And I also had to cut some of them because, of course, the redesign of it was conflicting with some other trees and so on. So, yeah, I had to touch a bit where they were placed, and I made sure that they were not higher than the Balmora crest. There's a mountain crest between the two areas. So, yeah, I tried to keep it, let's say, as normal as possible.
So Balmora, the highest point of Balmora was your point of reference?
Yes, exactly. To say that those mountains there should be higher than the trees.
The trees.
If you were in Balmora, you couldn't see the trees from there.
True.
That was the point.
Look, trees.
Yeah, that's really a Sunday mod, as I call it, in the sense that I was just there and I thought, well, I think it would be better if I trimmed them. And so I did. Very, very minimum effort in this case.
But good result, like for anyone who loved Melchior's trees, but whose FPS was just not... Hey, hi.
Well, I have to say for my... Oh, look at him.
We know this guy.
I have to say that to my sadness, in truth, the FPS gain wasn't that that big at the end.
Not that big.
No, absolutely not. The mesh is still too big. And I think actually Melchior made another version of them, a bit more optimized. Or that's what I read. on the forums, but I didn't check it out honestly, because of course it needs for me to start it from beginning. Not very alluring. Still, I might do it in another lazy Sunday, let's say.
Oh, confused person. All right.
Oh, it's
happens.
stripping.
Yeah, exactly. Too much skooma. I think you went to the coffee shop in Vibek.
Yeah, could be.
We're hoping to go there. We're hoping together. While we're here, there's one thing that we can take a quick look at because it's so simple. We're not stealing anything. This is great. Crate replacer. Boom.
Ah, yeah. Oh, damn, I almost forgot about it. True. That's actually... what I can tell about this is that in my, let's say, path in learning how to mod Morrowind, of course, I wanted also to check about textures, because I want to say that I'm pretty fresh in the community. It's almost 2 years maybe now that I'm modding Morrowind, but everything started, honestly, after years and years of modding it. To looking at one of your videos, honestly, and I said, yeah, I can do this, I think. And so I started with the CS first, but then I got a bit more intrigued by modeling and texturing and those kind of things. And that's one of my first attempts, honestly, in retexturing something. Mm-hmm. I have to say, nowadays I would do it differently. I can see myself being a bit naive on that. It looks a bit too cartoonist for my Morrowind style, let's say, how I like it. Still, I know that many people enjoy a bit more drawn aesthetic, so it might be for them. But still, it teaches me a lot, actually, though. So I'm still glad to have made it. Because, it's really the base to which I then developed a bit more my texturing skills, let's say.
You've been working with textures, with models.
Let's say a bit of everything.
A bit of everything, exactly. In real life, do you need any of those skills, or those are things that you've learned specifically for Morrowind?
Absolutely, I specifically for Morrowind. I didn't knew anything before. I always modded Morrowind since it came out. I've been lucky enough to be already a gamer when it came out, but I was pretty young, so I didn't mod it. I just played it. And then, growing up, I've seen, of course, some mods and understood then how to apply them. But still, I never really touched any tool. It happened really 2 years ago. Where I watched, I think there is this series you did, right? The modding with Danae, in which you did all these tutorials on modding.
That was 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, they are, indeed. And I start watching those, your videos, and then I start finally opening the CS. I think, I was 20 the first time I opened it, and I didn't really understood at the time what it was. But I did later on, thanks to your videos, and there I started, and then I just wanted to try always something different. So I started first with the CS, then when I thought I had enough confidence, which of course with time wasn't, but I thought I was confident enough, I moved then to other things. Texturing first and if scope, so I start kit bashing everything.
Yes.
Right, then I start changing the texture of what I kit bashed. Then I started making my own textures, and then I started using Blender to modify first, and then I started creating things. I want to say I still see myself as quite amatorial in the art of modeling, let's say. That's still a lot to learn where I stand, but still it's good enough to do some nice stuff in Morrowind.
Look, we're enjoying it, and also chat. You heard it, so I want you to be aware that all the great stuff we've got from Vegetto is thanks to me.
Yeah, we can say that.
No, we cannot.
I think we can. But, well, somehow.
It's thanks to you.
Somehow, let's say that we can say there was a spark, right?
That's it.
And I think that was the right spark that came at the right moment, just before the COVID. So I had a lot of time to develop my skills.
Well, I'm glad I had a little royal, a tiny spark roll in that. This is another one of your modes.
Actually, this is a duodynamico.
Duodynamico, yes. I installed all of them. Everything that had your name on it.
So as you know, and maybe others.
Just remind them.
Yeah, me and RandomPal are in a constant, we can say partnership in making mods, and we call it duodynamico. Let's say that I've been quite lucky in one of my first mods to be contacted by him, and we became quite friends. I use the word "quite" to try to put it down, but it's way too much.
Sorry, RandomPal. You thought you were really friends. You're quite friends.
No, I'm just saying that for my girlfriend because I jealousy. I spend way too much time with RandomPal lately. But let's say that of course we discovered both we are Italian, so that helped in a common aesthetics and common ground. It took quite a while. I have to say we spoke for 4 months in English to each other before we actually.
You didn't realize.
No, not immediately.
You should have used voice because.
We still don't do it nowadays.
It's funny.
No. I don't know. It just happened. We keep writing to each other so that we can keep note of what is said, I suppose. So we decided to do this, this common project, and yes, the port is one of those. Actually,
was that the first time you collaborated for the Strider port?
Well, no, not really. The first time we collaborated, I think, was on. It's difficult to say. I am sure that he contacted me first to help him on some meshes he wanted to change, and I did for some of his mods. And I think that then we actually did. I think the Ashlander was the first one together.
RandomPal is saying the concept art Lalu balcony at first.
True. The balcony. Indeed.
What a friend you are. You forgot.
Yeah, sorry. Indeed, the balcony were the first. Because, I wanted... And we do that a lot. That's, I think, the secret. We ask each other opinion constantly on any mod we are doing, despite being duodynamical or not. And I'm very happy about it, because I have to say RandomPal is my break when I go too far in changing things. Balconies was the first, and Strider Steel Port was again one of his ideas. I wanted to remake the Steel Strider port, and he made a version of it, but I was more like, you know what, we could add a bit of spice to it. I think it would be nice to have it different. At the end, Vivek is the main capital. It makes sense still that he has a different port. And so we did. I have to say I had still to fight, and indeed there is still a let's say more vanilla version of it. Because of course winning those fights with a purist like RandomPal, it's really hard, I can tell you. Every modification, it's blood spilled.
Is that bad? Wow.
No, well, I think when you do with Blender, so you mainly mods with modified meshes. Of course, it brings you to do things that might be sometimes wild, I think. Just because it goes in the direction you want, and you can really create objects that at the end do not pertain to the world. And I'm happy that there is RandomPal many times taking me back and saying, I think that's a bit too far.
But that's like, you know, your name is Duo Dinamico, but from what you say, you really bounce ideas on and off between the two of you until you get something that is pleasing not only for the two of you, but also clearly for lots of other people.
Indeed. I might say that despite being published by me or by RandomPal or by Duo Dinamico, mainly in the last year, I would say everything that came out is for sure anyway, at least as a, how to say, a review out from both of us. I wouldn't have any time. I need his help anyway to do a mod. Because first of all, RandomPal knows the CS way better than me. I think he's the person I've met that knows it the best. And sometimes to do certain tricks, I need his help. And furthermore, again, we have very similar aesthetics, but I really can use many times his purist point of view when I get too much carried out.
Perfect balance between the two of you. I crashed as I was going to enter the library. I'm missing the animation for the readers. I'm going to grab it. I didn't check if it was a requirement, so I'll get it now, don't worry. There's one thing you said that I wanted to react. You said that you consider yourself, you know, still not a beginner, but you're just getting started. Animated Morrowind, got it. But then again, I think to make a mod, sure, there's the experience working with the modding tools and the programs and everything, but there's also the ideas. Because, for example, your Scarface, that we will take a quick look at it. Your Scarface, I don't know the model, if it could be much better or not. I have no idea. Me, I like it. But you had to have the idea. So it's not just about the experience or the skill. It's about the idea and, you know, the aesthetic that you like as well, as you were saying.
Yeah, I have to say on the Scarface, there was already a mod. Pretty ancient that added close to it. Though I have to say, is a mod, let's say, children of his time. So not really amusing for nowadays, maybe standards. But still, the idea was there. And yes, I agree with you, I have to say. I honestly think that, or at least if I may be a bit modest on that, I think one of my best skills is in general, together with RandomPal, the aesthetics rather than really the skills of modeling or applying this or that. Or at least I think also is what is liked, let's say, what I do, because it's nothing really complex. And I mean, we have modders that really in the community knows their things way more than me. But I still think I make sense thanks to a bit of aesthetic sense. That I have, so I think I can always try to add something nice, let's say, to the environment. Yes, here we are in the library.
This is the library. This is the bigger. Oh wow, this is the bigger version of it. Nowadays, people have to choose between 3 good library mods. Like 1 year ago, we didn't have a good library of Vivek mod. And now we have to choose between 3.
Yeah, indeed. I have to say, I even felt a bit guilty to make it after Silorf made this version, because of course the intuition of the Blazes library came from there, though his mod is way different. He adds dungeons and quests, which this one does not. So I'm happy that at the end it worked out, making him. He also made a version only quest and dungeons, so that you can play both together. So I'm really happy about it. Because I have to admit, of course, the spark came from there again. His mods was like, hey, why? Indeed, nobody touched that library.
Nobody
which
dared.
Is anyway, yeah, nobody dared really. So yeah, we touched it again. this one is again an effort. Actually, again, the idea came mainly from the RandomPal that said, hey, you know, the library would be cool to have shelves. And that's where it started. Shelves that are not, you know, shelves in a library like supermarket kind of things, you know, but more structured and, you know, you would expect the most important and ancient library of the place to be like that, I suppose. So we did. And from there,
I must say, those shelves are everything.
Those come from, I want to say, a mesh from Melchior Dark. Again, I think it was a prototype or something, and I modified it for the occasion. So kudos to him for the base. And yeah, for the rest, from there, then we decided to add a map, because of course we start looking to all pictures, and we realized that in ISO, indeed, there was a representation of Red Mountain in the center, and we said, yeah, well, not Red Mountain, but we could put a map. You would expect a map in a library of the place where, of the world, let's say at least, world and region where you live. So I thought it would have been nice to add it in the center, and add also a bit of conceptual. So we added this lamp above it, which represents the sun and the moons that revolve, around Secunda. Indeed. So yeah, that was the idea. Still controversial. I had to convince RandomPal to add this lamp, and indeed there is also a modified version.
I've seen for people who feel that's too fancy or too different from the rest of the game.
Yeah, indeed. And I can understand that, you know, for some, for example, movement, it's only something related to the Dwemer, for example.
What was that?
So you would expect something like this in a Dwemer ruin rather than here. Or for some other, you know, I think it really depends also on how modded is your Morrowind. You have it a bit more vanilla, and maybe things I do might clash with that, having too much of a modern look maybe. So I totally understand it. I have to say that my own Morrowind, let's say my striving, it's always to make Morrowind as modern as I can, trying still to keep the vanilla feeling in the things I do, but still modernizing them. So it looks awesome in my Morrowind, I have to say. Maybe a bit less.
We're watching you.
And that's why we always try to put, say we, because also in RandomPal, Dynamico mods, always try to put also a bit more a vanilla version.
I was going to say, a lot of the inspiration for you, RandomPal, and then the two of you together is usually concept art or fan art of Morrowind.
Concept art, but in general, everything, honestly. We look every week at everything that comes out about Morrowind. And
you do your homework.
And honestly, we look at it without any preconcept. So honestly, I think if something is beautiful, it's beautiful, despite if it comes from ISO or if it comes from Morrowind itself, or it comes even from Skyrim. I think if something is beautiful and it fits, then why not?
I agree. I'm not a purist myself, so I have been playing with a character that had wings, okay? So
yeah,
definitely not a purist, but I definitely can appreciate the eye candy. I want to complain though. I want to activate this and make it turn, and it doesn't work.
Oh well, that's possible indeed. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I could work on that. Yeah.
There's already a script that does that, a rotate script.
Yeah, indeed. I actually used it, I think, in one of my first trial. So it never became a mod, but I tried.
Not too late
to do so. Yeah, and now I understand how it can be useful, for example. So
there is someone watching me.
Good.
I can tell.
Good. Fine. I'm glad my complaint has been addressed. All right, let me see. In Vivek, we wanted to see the port, we wanted to see the library. I thought there was something else in Vivek, though.
There is indeed a coffee shop.
The coffee shop, of
Vivek,
course.
If you installed.
Of course I did. Where is it?
Because that's actually my first mod ever.
Okay, well, we'll take a look, but you have to tell me which canton I need to go to.
If I'm correct, it's in the in the foreigner canton, I think.
We're
yes,
watching
yes.
you.
I don't play it since I live for
quickly,
a long
Outlander,
time,
or go
so a bit of.
You can always
Patience.
identify a good piece of concept art. I hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
And
well,
there's
of course, that's also this.
Jeez.
Yes, indeed.
Well, that's lucky. We nearly missed it because that's a major mod.
We were, forgetting the elephant in the room.
Exactly. Tell us about this mod, please.
Well, so that's my second mod. So
Speak
I was
quickly,
really,
Outlander, or go
actually
away.
really young in the community still. Didn't know a lot about it. But yeah, there was, and I think we all noticed indeed that there has been a bit of a revival of concept art of Morrowind. So many mods lately took concept art made by Kirkbride or else, yeah, indeed, and put it in the game. And I was modding Morrowind, and I was asking myself, looking at the concept art, like, why nobody ever did it? Because honestly, all the things were there already, in the sense that the planets were present already in a mod from the RR team, from the Ghost Gate. There were already the planets rotating. And actually, of course, there were already flames. You needed only to make them green, because the first version that I made didn't have this awesome flame that has been done by actually the... what's the name? Mushroom Enwas?
The Enwa team who gave us quite a few mods as well.
Indeed, they contacted me and says, "Hey, your mod is very nice and everything, but we think you could get an help with such a flame," and so they gifted me with such beauty.
I love that. I love that, and that reminds me. I want to go back when you said that you felt a little guilty making a library mod directly inspired from Sealof's mod. But especially these days, I feel the modding community is really, the Morrowind modding community is really open to cooperating together, sharing assets, sharing knowledge together. And so from Sealof's library and dungeon mod, we got arguably an even better library, but we can still get the dungeons that are amazing. And then the Enwa team made those beautiful flames, and I absolutely love the fact that they actually contacted you and said, "Hey, we like your mod. We think we got something that could make it better. Here, take it if you want." I absolutely adore that.
Yeah, I agree, and it happened quite sometimes, I have to say, since then, that I've been contacted by people helping me and vice versa. And indeed, I agree with you that lately, or at least lately, I never participated before in the community, but posts are still there, let's say. So you can see that with time, now we are in a point where I think everything is quite open. And people are happy to cooperate with each other, yes. And also my mods, they are all open. Everything I do can be taken, used, transformed, whatever. Because honestly, I also believe that it is the strength of a community. Because things I've done, I would have never been able to do it without work of other people. And maybe I still can add something, I think, and as many other people can still add something, even though they are not professionals in the field, let's say. So yeah, that's I totally agree with you.
Yeah. All right, let's go find that coffee shop.
Yeah, it should be in the Foreigner Canton. I think I added a door because I have to say I have a bit of difficulty because I have in my own version of Morrowind. I am a very unfortunate person. My Morrowind, it's a mix of become, rebirth. It's really a Frankenstein of things, and it took me years to make it all work together. So actually my coffee shop is in another place because I had to fix it for my own version. And I have to say also a lot of mods that I do for the community, and then I need to adjust it for my own setup, because otherwise would go in conflict.
I'm just gonna look for a door that I don't remember.
There should be somewhere, maybe the other side.
That's...
Nope.
I'm
Let's
in
see,
the lower
should
waist
come out.
work. Maybe upper.
Not make this.
Maybe it's upper. Could be. If maybe can be, yeah, a good idea to give a look.
Normally, we would be able to find the coffee shop by the smell or happy customers coming out.
Well, actually, I think you can ask to the guards about it.
The ordinators will tell me about it?
Yeah, I think they would.
So no, that's not it. No.
Nope.
Trader in Redoran. The Enchanter. The Hall of Justice. The Hall of Wisdom.
No.
We're watching.
Then I think it's not coming up.
Scum.
But yeah, indeed, let's check the door. But I'm quite sure actually it's in the lower.
Yeah, because there's nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that coffee shop is a secret. Like you have to know the place.
Also, because honestly, it is a coffee shop, indeed, where skooma is consumed.
Oh, I hope I don't have a conflict with my baker.
Maybe the other side of the enchanter, so on the left. So where is the enchanter? Is on the opposite side of the enchanter, maybe. That's the enchanter on the other side.
We'll do it differently because I want to get there. This feels too much like Morrowind looking for a place.
Yeah, especially in the cantons.
Yes, especially in Vivek. It's called... no, that's not a person. It's called the Sanctuary, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The Sanctuary.
The Sanctuary. Yeah.
Also, let's find...
Exactly.
Boring Quarter, Lower Wastework. That's where it was.
Yes,
so
indeed.
For anyone looking for it, that's where it is.
That's
okay.
It. It's in a place where it doesn't disturb anything, I have to say. And oh yeah, that's my first mod where I learned how honestly really the CS how to
quickly Outlander. I haven't much
apply
time.
little scripts to it.
We have a little of the activator going on there.
Yeah, indeed, it's coming out. Might be I need to fix it. I never really checked.
Just lower it a little bit and we'll be good.
Indeed.
At the same time, it could be whatever stuff we've been smoking that made our vision a bit blurry.
A bit blurry. Might be a good idea.
Huh? Just, yeah, loves the sanctuary. And serve the temple best she can, really. Selling skooma for the temple.
Yeah, let's say that is there is a bit of lore about it in the sense that it is the only one in the entire Vanderfell. It's a kind of a project, let's say, where it is allowed to some people to consume products, let's say in a safe environment.
While reading the sermons.
Indeed, to trip out and have your indeed, because the idea is that indeed it was a place to get closer to your gods.
A tissue.
That was the idea behind it. So let's say that I live in a place in which coffee shops exist of that nature. So I just wanted to recreate a bit
I
the
will listen,
atmosphere,
Outlander, but make it
let's
quick.
say, of a calm place where people can consume skooma. And so, that was the idea. And honestly, everything is also an homage to my cat, because that's why the Akajit is the owner of this place, not only because of skooma, but also is actually inspired by my own cat.
Is your cat Dalima or Jaribi?
Actually, let's say I changed the name because I couldn't use the name of my cat because it would have been too much out of context.
Yeah.
It's called Yuri, so I don't think we can use Yuri as a name really in Morrowind. So I did a version. When I published it, I changed the name.
I see.
In my version, it still does. It has my name.
Nice. And I like that you can buy sugar, but you buy safe sugar.
Indeed.
I like that. So sure you can have skooma if you read the sermons at the same time.
Exactly. The idea is that the place is genuinely religious based, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a quest attached to it. In fact, of course, there are some ordinators that want to shut down the place by blackmailing and making some tricky stuff to them. Because of course, and that's what I like, because of course there's a lot of politics in Morrowind somehow as a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it to give this twist as well, where there are some factions, let's say, that are pro the idea of, yes, you can consume safely in a religious way, and some other instead that were anyway against it. So I like the idea to keep this going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it's really more a mod that I did to learn the basics of the CS.
Well, you know what? Most people, for their first mod, it's a shack in Seydonin or a house in Balmora. So that's an original first mod, and it fits with the lore. I like it. And there's a quest on top of it. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I have to say I've never been a fan of house mods, and I understand why people likes it. I think it's not really my thing. I'm more also more a nomad in Morrowind when I play it. Honestly, in my playing style, I don't tend to stay in one place. So I think this helped, and I was like gathering idea for the first mod just to learn how the basics were.
What was that?
And I didn't want to do a house mod simply because I would have not used it.
That's fair.
This one, and I have to say that since Scumastesia came out, I was thinking to revamp this place and making it a serious mod, let's say, instead of my first attempt.
But very, very seriously, you should get in touch with Merlord. So that the safe sugar can work with the code of Scumastesia and maybe the hemp pipe, because I'm guessing right now they're not they're not compatible, but you cannot smoke them. You've seen in Scumastesia you can take the pipe and actually smoke it.
Yeah.
This probably wouldn't work. How is it said?
Yeah. Also, because I think in this version, if I remember correctly, I anchored the object to the place to avoid stealing. That was the idea.
You can't steal it.
Yeah, exactly. But indeed, now with Scumastesia, those things, could be reviewed. And I was thinking about it, and probably it will happen eventually. Because I still like the idea of a place, that is not. Everybody, time to time, wants to roleplay as a junkie, right?
Okay.
Why not?
I try, but then I forget, or I run out of skooma, and I'm like, oh well, I'm cured. Skooma is so expensive. No, and this is actually good because you can roleplay not necessarily as a junkie, but you can still be an upstanding citizen that likes to unwind while reading the sermons.
Yeah, the idea is to meditate, indeed. And that's why there are those rooms downstairs. Those are meditating rooms, where theoretically you can use the fume of the safe sugar to enlighten yourself.
That works. Okay, I think this time that was all the Vivek mods. I'm pretty sure.
I think it is. I think it is.
A while ago, and I'm sorry, Chad, I am reading it, but I don't want to interrupt Vegetto and react necessarily to everything you say. RandomPal said that the next big project you worked on was Stellarin.
Yes. let's say that Telarun indeed was the first big project we did together, and also community actually, because it was for the
Madness last year.
And Madness was, I have to say.
Yes, do tell us about that. What did you think of taking part in the Madness?
Well, it has been very, very time-consuming, this I can say, in the sense that for 1 month I didn't do anything else, aside my normal work.
We make a special
coming
trip
back
just
and,
for you.
modding.
Same low price.
At the same time, of course, was super fun. And I think it also strengthened, that, let's say, the friendship between me and RandomPal. We might have not have a Dodinamico without it. That is for sure. Also, because I have to say we have been a bit unlucky. So in our team we had almost immediately a couple of deflections. So from 5 people we became 3.
You, RandomPal, Lucifer.
And Lucifer, let's say mainly. Then there was Brujo Loco and Overclock. Sorry if I say it wrong. And unfortunately, Brujo Loco and Overclock had to quit for personal reason quite soon. So me and RandomPal and Lucifer find ourselves a bit alone. Now, Lucifer, of course, does a lot about writing, and I'm glad about it, because you need a native, I think, right? If you really want to write good things. And Normie and RandomPal were capable of, so I'm happy she joined. But this left me and RandomPal with a lot of actually work to do in general with everything else. So we found ourselves for 1 month, me and him, every evening working on it. And I'm happy we were on the same time zone. Otherwise, it would have been crazy.
I can confirm. I've been in teams with Merlord in New Zealand, and then different people in the States, even different regions of the States. So literally, our team was a 24-hour shift. There was never a time where we're all up. That was fun.
Actually, a curiosity from my side, how did you do it? Because I was thinking, did you keep an Excel file or something? Like to keep up with the things that other people were doing, or?
I don't know, Vegetto. I think I'll tell you the day you're in my team.
Okay.
No. Mostly we were coordinating on my Discord, but I am a little bit of an organization freak, so I was keeping track of everything and what everyone was gonna do and the order and everything. But mostly it was on the Discord, and then I kept my files. We had a Google Doc, but I think I was mostly the one using it. Discord was the best way. And then it got to the point where we had the channel where we just talked ideas and things, and then each of us, I created had a to-do channel. I'm a little bit of a.
Oh well, I understand. I'm also a bit like that. I like to keep track of things. So I can totally understand, and thank you. Maybe you never know in the future if I ever work together with people at the other side of the planet. Might be pretty useful.
Who knows? But it's definitely a matter of finding people you can work with, and then not seeing too big. I don't know, when you worked on Telarun, did you have to cut out a lot of ideas or features, or did you have a nice neat plan and then you stuck to that?
Not really. So actually I think the way I work, and I think a bit also RandomPal, and that's also why we work good together, we always overcharge. So we overthink, we overgo, and we often do too much, way too much, and then we start cutting out. So that's a bit how we work. So we dream majestic, we do majestic, and then when we see such majesty, we are like, man, no. We worked 10 hours for nothing, but it was worth it, because at the end it makes you understand what was right and what is not. And I also want to say that time to time, of course, we have different views. So I might say it would be very nice to add this thing. And then RandomPal may say, no, I don't think it's cool. And I do it anyway. And then I just show it at him and say, I think it's cool anyway. And many times it is. Sometimes not. But it's really, everything we think about, we do. And then we simply cut out. From there, working in subtraction. That's how we make it. Okay. And Telarun was not any different, actually, in the sense that the idea was simply to retouch firstly the entrance and then the dungeon. And then at the dungeon we said we can add...
The entrance is something you did even before or separately, the Telarun Gate?
So the Telarun Gate was part of the mod, but it was too much out of context, let's say, and I agree, because there's not such big mushroom anywhere. So we decided to cut it off. That's really an example of when we say overdoing. So it was part of this mod, and then we cut it out because we thought, wasn't worth it. Still at the end, I thought was worth anyway, for who likes really the aesthetics, a bit of fairy tale aesthetic in Morrowind. To publish it nonetheless.
It's a win for everyone.
Yeah, indeed, and still we wanted to be quite in Morrowind with this mod, so don't strive too much far. So we did this this mod, which at the end started growing out of our control, and it became Telarun, and with Telarun a quest that can bring you to some ruins, or you can find some hidden content also here in Telarun, actually, going in the most down parts. Let's say there is a little secret that we didn't want to spoil at the time, and now I think we can. It's time is past, but there's a necromancer that is doing his things, hiding in the very basement of Telarun now.
So Telarun, I have not installed it, and we're not going to take a look at it, and I'll tell you why, and I hope you'll forgive me. What I would really, really love to do one of those Sundays is to have you, RandomPal, and Lucifer, and we take a look at the mod together, so that the three of you can contribute stories to, this, originally we wanted to make that, and Vegetto did this, and RandomPal said it wasn't cool, and Vegetto said it was cool anyway, so he did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stories like that.
Absolutely. So, I think some funny things can come out, because, again, the madness is madness. So
Exactly. And since you have so many mods, we will still have plenty of things to see.
I have fear of looking at those chats nowadays.
Nah.
And the things that has been said, because we were also coordinating on Discord, indeed. So everything is still there, and there are some funny bits, I have to say.
It's funny looking at it again, even though, when you look at it a few weeks later, and you go, oh my god. No, we say so many things that the chat is just huge. But you're right, there's always some funny bits there.
Yeah. If you don't mind,
no?
I would like to reply to a chat comment that I
Of course, go ahead. Please do.
Which is an interesting one, just because I always had the same question before doing it. And it was if, when I do the Acronymous title for my mods, if I think before at the Acronymous or before at the title, and then... No, I first...
Go ahead, yes, I saw it and I wanted to come back to that. Thank you, I forgot.
Yes. I first think at the Acronymous, absolutely. It's way easier. And then I try to find the words that fits into it.
Speak quickly.
That's the way I do it, yes. And I want to say that naming a mod, it's one of the most funny thing that I reserve to myself, and that is the bit also the little thing that RandomPal always allow me to do, even when he doesn't like it. Because it's just
knows,
one of my...
He knows. He can tell you to not put a fantasy gate to Telerin, but he cannot stop you from having an acronym in your title.
Exactly.
That's a losing battle. I just want to... There we go. So if we look at it, so we have ABC, no, this one you didn't plan it before. The animated hammocks.
Oh yes, actually
you did.
Yes, it's a bit of a sad story.
Oh no.
Let's say that out of a sadness, because I thought, let's say that certain mod would have been more appreciated than I did this Morrowind mod, saying name it Ma, sincerely as a bit of like. Oh, why?
Fair enough.
So it's still at
this one was
JFK,
on purpose
of
as
course.
Well. JFK, we have ABC. Then
definitely we have.
This is not an acronym, but it's good.
I don't know if we can say the acronym, so I'm not gonna say it.
Maybe.
There is CRAG.
Yeah,
that's also an acronym. Indeed.
I will have to look for Guar so we can take a look. I did install it. Oh, and this I didn't point it out, but I'm guessing the chat noticed my cursor is different. And the coffee shop, not an acronym, clearly. Early modding, indeed.
Here, as you can see by the author and the publisher, I was still unsure about my nicknames at the time, so I was still using two names. Indeed.
But that's fine.
Yeah, it's I think this bipolar action that we all do, right? Adding more nicknames.
I've always been the same, but yes, very often I got the written interviews of modders every week, and one of the questions is about the nickname, and typically I get, well, I was 12 when I chose it, so...
Exactly, yes.
It is what it is. It's like, you're stuck with it.
Indeed, it's also my case, honestly. It's a nickname I chose. It actually comes from Dragon Ball, so we are talking end of the 80s.
Yeah.
I stick with it.
Yes.
I just stick with it, even though nowadays I think I am... pretty far from it, let's say. Still, I like it. Everybody recognizes it also as friends. So keep it.
Yeah. All right. We are now in the Corpusarium.
Oh yes.
So I'm a little anxious there.
And you should, because we really fulfilled it of creepy things, at least as much as I could.
Go toggle god mod on. Okay. Are you ready?
Very good idea.
Good idea, right?
This is a mod actually that it's actually an adjusted version. So there was already a mod made, I think, for some old madness.
Yes. That was not finished.
Indeed, that was unfinished, and RandomPal has really a good eye for all unfinished things, and therefore he contacted me and said, "Hey, yes, hey, it is terrible that this one was never finished." And I was, and I agreed, because I think that the Corpusarium is one of those places that could be indeed really disgusting. But for some reason it didn't. Felt disgusting as it should be in my at least in my view. And of course he had also the main let's say the quest attached to it. So the Plunger the Dungeon was broken from the start.
Yes.
Was broken from the start, so we took the chance to completely revamp the area. And we used assets from OAB, and
of Ashes and Light, yeah.
indeed. And
no.
yes.
Those are
yes,
people.
Yes. The idea that was behind it is that at the end, so it takes inspiration definitely from The Thing. That's where I took the inspiration, the movie. And the idea was that at the end, the corpusarium meat is indeed spore. So it's still part of what the body where it started all, right? So it was still one thing, still a living thing. And that's why we made these walls and I made these animated tentacles. Really to give the idea that at the end of the transformation, it's always still a living thing, even if it's disgusting to us.
Even if they don't, what's the word? When they become a Dagoth, awake? When they awake?
When they're awake. Let's say that, no? Some of them, by the lore, some of them reach indeed the higher level where they can choose their own matter, so to speak.
And we thought that this was the worst case scenario. That's what happens.
Absolutely no.
No. This is. Or
indeed.
This
the point is, what if you don't have the capacity to arrive at that enlightenment and then it gets out of hand? So you don't have control anymore on the matter. That is the idea.
Okay. Sorry, I was poking the
and I am a fan, I have to say, I'm a fan of horror in general. Video games or movies, if well done. So yeah, I wanted to do this, and we did it. This is actually directly from the mod, the original mod. And we just left it exactly as it was, because I found it very nice to have a kind of a blooming kind of wall made of corpus.
Did you use R0's asset?
Yes, definitely. And actually, I think this wall is one of his assets. Now, I'm unsure about because it was for Madness, so they were a team of 5, I think. Who did it? The Templar, I think.
The original mod. I don't remember the name.
But it's definitely. I think it's from R0. And this room instead is a bit of homage from my side to Alien. Actually, you will notice that there are eggs of corpus into these containers, and they came to me like in an Alien fashion way. So the idea that something might eventually spawn out of it.
I don't want to wait and find out.
Because also the idea is that those are all experiments, right? So
Delphir is a
exactly.
scientist.
You have Delphir is a scientist, and he helps everybody with corpus for free and nicely, which I found it always very odd from Telvanni to do.
Like sure,
yeah. So I was like, I think it would be nice if we had some odd things, because it stays in character, right? Telvanni, if they do something for free to you and they want to help you, it's for their own advantage. They will never do it out of their kindness.
I mean, this could be his future wives. Maybe he's growing his next 4 wives. We don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, to make it absolutely perfect, the perfect experience is you open the door, you walk in, the door closes behind you, and as you approach, you see the eggs go boom, 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 boom. And then,
that's a good idea.
And then you panic. I don't know what happens after that.
Yeah, well, I think we can. There's that. No, I'm sure we can do something like this.
I don't know.
It would be a nice edit idea.
It's nice touch.
I have to say.
These are
nice
so
touch.
close.
I have to say, in the case of this mod, we really worked a lot to simply making it, in the sense really of graphical coherence, because the set of the cavern is not the easiest to work with, especially when you add other things, and everything start to not match as they should. So we really spend an incredible amount of time, me and RandomPal, making it a proper place and a finished one. So I think indeed we overlooked a bit what we could have added as extra.
That definitely wasn't a criticism. Like, it's really easy to look at a finished mod and say, oh, it would be cool if. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is that supposed to be what was that?
Yeah, that's probably a hole. That's exactly what I talk about now. I think it's a hole in the cavern set. So it would need a rock to be to be closed.
Yeah, that's the fog.
Yeah, indeed,
okay.
Indeed.
I was hesitating because there's this mod that changes the lakes into sulfur lakes, and I was wondering.
Yeah,
that's not it.
No, unfortunately not. There are still some. Indeed, seem very hidden. It's strange that we find it, of course, during the streaming.
That's what happens. That's what happens. You come for a chat. Actually, and you leave with a list of things you have to do.
You have to fix, indeed.
You leave with your homework.
But as you can see also now, the place is enormous.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
Whoa.
The research.
Oh, God mod. No, God mod.
We're gonna go.
Very good. I'm fine.
We are fine in the
that
lava.
big hole is not good. don't jump in the big hole, guy. All right.
But let's say that now plunger in the dungeon. It's a way more quest. Let's say so. To find all the secret chests is not that easy anymore, and find them in one after the other makes it even less easier. So yeah, that's really what it is, a Corprosarium experience. So you need to spend some time into here, avoiding the various horrors that you find.
You can't kill the creatures either.
Indeed, so that was really the idea, to give a dark environment and place where to really freak out in case you are prone to this.
That's yeah, I hate it. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, I hope it does what it's designed it for.
It really does. It's that sort of disgusted fascination for it, where you're like, you don't want to look, but you're looking. Because it's, what would be cool, sorry, I just keep, if this thing touching you did some damage. A little bit like in Oblivion, there was a plant, I forgot the name, that was sort of moving about, and if it touched you, you would take some damage. Yeah. Not a huge lot, like not Sow Thistle Trap, you're dead damage, but something.
We thought about it, honestly. We discussed with RandomPal, but then we discarded because we thought that for certain people would have been too much.
Fair.
But yes, I honestly I agree. I would indeed add damage to them. A very low one, but still something. But
I do agree that it's already disgusting enough. We don't need all that much. But yeah, it would be like...
there should be a room somewhere which is really filled of those things, actually.
Which I have missed.
See.
By the way, while I'm looking at it, look at my cool cursor, regular one.
It might be on the left side.
There?
Yeah, I think in that area it might be. Because we made, I am sure, we made a room filled with, let's say, it is the room you don't want to be. Let's put it in this way. But it's also one of the most difficult places to reach.
That's the one with the lag room.
So it should be from, honestly, I'm terrible with with my sense of orientation. but it doesn't really matter. Probably, yeah, maybe looking it from
outside. I fell there. I remember that.
I think it's on the other side. Sorry, if you look actually on the right, and yeah, now you go straight. I think it's at the end of proceeding straight in this direction. And still, I think I've seen it when you were panoraming, let's say the area from outside. So I think it's on your, if you look at your left. No,
You
sorry.
see a single tentacle.
No. It is somewhere.
Well, people, it's a challenge for you guys. Find the most disgusting room in this dungeon. Indeed. And if you do, congratulations.
Indeed, you will be filled of horror.
Yay. Challenge accepted. Yeah, let's leave it for people to explore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks very disgustingly cool. Great job blending everything. Yeah, I like it. Though I noticed, now I'm just going to be annoying, the texture of the wolf flesh and the texture of the eyes. Can I find one, please?
Yeah. Maybe they are in different, indeed, resolutions.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, indeed. I noticed it too, indeed.
So the eyes stand out a bit too much, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I need to recheck it.
That's a little nitpick. Cool. Very, very cool. That wall is disgusting.
Well, again, the idea was really to be disgusting, so...
That's the idea. Congratulations. Yeah. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. So that's the Corpusarium.
Yeah, indeed. Corpusarium experience, and again, this has been also done together with RandomPal. It's a duodynamico mod, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
It is difficult to distinguish anymore. But yeah.
So now you went from we're quite friend to I can't tell the difference between us anymore. We're like one.
Well, as I said, quite friends. It's the word I use when my girlfriend is around. Otherwise, she gets too jealous of RandomPal. Because we talk way too much about Morrowind. Let's say that sometimes she would prefer I do the dishes. Let's put it in this way.
But that's why you have to go on voice, because that way you can do the dishes and talk to RandomPal.
I think that would be the end. The end.
And then you're single, so you can talk to RandomPal every day.
Then we can talk each other 24h.
Is there any chance that it is in this part? Because I didn't... you're
Could
ugly.
Be.
You're ugly, buddy. Lots of angry creatures here, honestly.
Yeah, it's full of. Actually, we made it, as I said, a bit more hard than usual.
It's an experience.
Well, we thought it was, exactly. It would have been nice to add a bit of more flavor to it, also in difficulty.
Is it compatible with Alice's There We Go?
Yes, you made it.
I will.
You actually made it. Yes.
Ugh. You know what would be super, super creepy? If there was a face there and you could talk to them.
That's a nice... why not? Like something that is left in humanity in one of those things. Yeah, why not? It's a good idea.
A little bit like... what was that? In Pirates of the Caribbean, there was that that ship, and all the sailors, they had barnacles growing on their faces, and there was this guy that was like in the boat in the wood.
Yes,
so something like that. But
part of. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Why not? It's still in the lore somehow. Let's say, at least in my personal one. So
tortured faces and textures, yes, Zero Fox, just like tortured faces in lava. We had that in Pimp My Shrine. Pimp My Shrine. Nah. Okay, let's get out of this place. People don't like me. Where do we go next, Vegetto? Shall I head for the Red Mountain, maybe?
Let's do so. Yes.
Since I'm in God mode, I'm cheating already. Let's just.
It's a very good. Yeah, it's a very good idea to be in God mode over there.
Yeah, clearly.
You are gonna be chased, I'm sure.
Yes, I was gonna say, is it compatible with Alice's Plunder the Dungeon mod? Where she did rework, I think, the dialogues mostly?
It should be. It should be. I tried it, and I didn't have any problems, so I would say yes.
Dagoth Ur. Facilitate cavern, I think?
Dagoth Ur welcomes you, Nerevar, my old friend.
Yeah,
wait,
but to this place where destiny is
Gosh,
made,
he's loud.
why have you come unprepared?
Sorry, chap. Okay, you shut up.
Is the loudness of...
oh yeah, it was like, Dagoth Ur welcomes you. Well, sorry, Dagoth Ur, we're not here for you.
Indeed, we are here for the door that brings you... Not that one, the... yes.
It is that one, yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna do a little magic. Oh, right. What are we going to discover on the other side of that door?
So, here again, we were thinking together with RandomPal what would be the next place to touch. Because also that's the way we work. We think about places that can be done better. Mm-hmm. And here we were at the Akulakan chamber, and looking at it, let's say from a vanilla perspective, we were like, it's very nice and well done for 2002. But nowadays maybe it's a bit underwhelming that you arrive there, and as a battle you have this kind of static place where to fight. So we thought that we could have added some more about it, starting from Akulakan itself, and adding some more flavor to the room in general, and make it a bit more dynamic. Because at the end, the battle with Dagoth Ur, it is a dynamic battle, because, I always imagine a person that never played Morrowind before, and you would try to kill him, of course, which it's not really that easy. So at the end, it becomes like a chasing mouse and cat game. And I like the idea that you have to pass through more dynamic places while fighting with him. So that was the idea.
Sure. People who have not finished the main quest, close your eyes. You don't deserve to see this just yet. And it would ruin the experience for you. All right, let's take a look. I can look at it because I finished the main quest twice.
What a fool you are. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. How could you be so naive? There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place. Come, lay down your weapons. It is not too late for my mercy.
It's not too late. He doesn't do it properly. Okay, he's done. He doesn't do it properly. He's never heard the song, clearly. Good thing I have God mod. Let's just... Alright, do I still not have collision? I do.
No, it seems not.
There we go. And what I want to do is pretend I'm fighting, and then... I kill them. Many times. Okay, Dagoth. Cool. We're not here for you. Here we go.
Goodbye.
This is just too noisy. screaming in my ears. Okay, this is what we're here for.
So yeah, here it is. The Akulakan chamber as I review it, let's say. So here we added, again, we used Ovation Blight as resources in general, because if you are saying in your mind, you use them nowadays, I think. Because it's just way better than the vanilla sets for many things. And therefore we could add all this lava below. We tried to make a bit more of a dynamic lake of lava. And we added some more scaffold to it and animated it like if Akulakan is indeed in construction. And and then we added those umbilical cords. So actually this, of course, it's an idea that came to me. Honestly, it's from a bad memory that I had of Evangelion. So when I was young, I watched it and then I didn't for a long time. And in my mind, they were connected by something like this. But in truth, they weren't, looking back at it. So that was the inspiration. And I thought that it would have been nice, the idea of, things going into Akulakan blood. And, I mean, at the end, it's going to be a living god. So it needs to have some organic things going into him, I expect. And that's where the umbilical cords came from. So we try to add them, of course, in a more cinematographic way possible, so that going down, fighting against the Gotur, you would have seen it from different perspective, and so on. Over there, instead, that you see on the back, it's the living quarter of the workers. They work on Akulakan, because we also thought, well, if people work on it, you expect them to have a place very close to it, where they have their stuff. So there are some dreamers there. Of course, not happy to see you.
You will die.
Honestly, I killed Daggerthor. No, I didn't actually. That makes sense. Actually, I never thought of it. But true.
So we put indeed some places for them, and interesting to know is that because I received this question by almost everybody that tried this mod, and is at the end when Akulakan is destroyed, do the umbilical cords stay attached? And the answer is no. They also collapse. We actually thought about it quite good with RandomPal, so no. At the end of the game, it's gonna be destroyed, and they're gonna fall down naturally. And I also retouched the heart actually. So these are a bit of some little addition. And also the heart, I had the pleasure to redesign it a bit, though I see here it's, strange, I have to say, because I never saw it like this before. I will check it out. But normally it's all in one piece, and I remade, the full mesh of it to be a bit more mechanical, Dwemer-ish.
We see the bits at the top.
Yeah, indeed, it's the bits at the top. That is the new addition, so that is connected to the pipes above. And there is also a retexture of Akulakan, a sliding one, in different versions. So if you go on the mod page and you visit it, you will see that there are also different texturing depending by what you prefer. Because I wanted to give a bit of more technological touch to it as well. Like if it was indeed part machine, part god, and part living, therefore. That was the idea behind it.
No, I can see that. I'm trying to get to the mod page. Well, I will do it this time. I did notice that most of your mods come with actually a number of options, trying to give something for everyone.
Yes, indeed. Because at the end, of course, again, I think that every one of us have his idea of Morrowind, right? And his idea of modding it. So there will always be people that are totally into fantasy. So I don't know, having really fairies going around and those kind of things. People that instead it's absolutely pure vanilla. That want the original texture, that wants everything just as it is in the original game. And some other people that want it instead as best as it possible on a graphic side. So I try to make everybody happy as I can. Mm-hmm. And also I know that many people use different setups as CVs and so on. So for example, for Aldarun, I think, I don't know, I did 6 or 7 different modification to it, depending on which Aldarun mod you are running. But yeah, I think they are little effort that pays at the end. Because I mean, I always say if someone comments on my mod and point out something that is, you know, uncompatible and makes him somehow sad that he cannot use it, then I think that's a good effort to do to make people enjoy it as much as you can. I honestly prefer less comments when they tell you what you should like than that is different. Because of course, again, I also do mods for the way I like to see Morrowind. So I can't really deviate too much from my point of view on it. Otherwise, it becomes a service of modding for other people only.
Definitely. Like I think it's all about trying to keep a balance between the idea of the mod that you have, and then trying to provide options for others, but not always do it no matter what and go, oh, somebody wants this and somebody wants that, because then you end up with one mod that has 10 different options. And when you want to update the mod, you actually have to update 10 mods, basically. Yeah. and it becomes insane. And the worst part is that then you just don't want to. You're like, I don't want to update that mod. I don't want to improve it anymore. And everybody loses. So provide options when possible and reasonable.
Yeah, I agree. And also, you know, sometimes... again, I think someone should try to stay as true as possible to the vision he had originally about the mod. Still welcoming every critics about it, and I think every proper critics is always welcome. And if it's an improvement or again enlarging the compatibility of a mod, I'm always happy to do that. But I'm not the kind of person that modify his taste, let's say, or his ideas because they are not found. I mean, I already have to fight with RandomPal, right?
Like, if you have Random's approval, you know
exactly,
what? It's good enough for the world.
Exactly, that's the way I do. I already fight him. If I win against him, I think it's good enough. Then for the public in general.
That's good. Everybody, if you want to make a mod and you're not sure if it's good enough for the public, send RandomPal a PM and convince him that your mod is good enough. RandomPal, you're gonna have to check every mod that gets uploaded on the Nexus from now on. With
I can tell you, it's not easy.
Approved.
I can tell you, it's not easy. I spend more time removing things than adding them.
Wow, it's tough. Really tough. I'm sorry I got rid of Dagos, or well, sorry, not sorry, because we won't see the Aquilican destroyed. But you know what? That's something for you guys. When you complete the main quest, you will see the final seconds of the Aquilican. I'm sure it's very epic, but I cannot show you right now. That way, there's still something to discover. Okay, where do we go next?
So,
Ashlanders?
yes, why not? we can choose a camp and visit it. Absolutely. I have to say the Ashlander is one of my favorite mods that we did as Do Dinamico.
If it is now part of Beautiful Cities of Morrowind as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. Though I have to say it started as a mod aside. And then, let's say that we have an unsaid rule, which is if we do something that is absolutely vanilla feeling, then we might incorporate it in Beautiful City of Morrowind. Because Beautiful City of Morrowind, of course, the RandomPal project is very vanilla plus feeling. Mm-hmm. So it's a project that wants to stay as much as close to the original aesthetic and lore and so on of the original Morrowind. Therefore, we can't go too wild about it. And some mods that we do, they fit into this description, and then we incorporate them into Beautiful City of Morrowind. Sorry. Like, for example, I think the Corprosarium, I don't think it has been inserted, for example, in Beautiful City of Morrowind, because we found it.
I don't think so.
Indeed, a bit too much. So there are certain guidelines, let's say, and the Ashlander is absolutely into it. Because at the end here, what we added, it's really the flavor of the different camp. The idea, as it actually is born, is that there weren't really a lot of mod about the Ashlander. And I think it's really a pity because the Ashlander are a very important part of the main Morrowind quest.
There's someone
and also I think
I can tell.
They give a lot in sense of lore to the game. So yeah, it was really a pity that they didn't had any retouch across all the years of Morrowind. So we said, okay, we can actually do that. So I see that you are using also the replacer here for the Guar, the Krag.
Yeah.
So for the Ashlander, we just said, okay, it is said in lore that every Ashlander tribe, they are slightly different between each other. So there are tribes that is more for war, another tribe is way more on the merchant side of things. Someone it's more religious than other, and I thought that would have been nice to fleshlight those differences, to just don't make them all feel the same. Because I think also one of the most tiring things that I felt every time I play Morrowind and I do the main quest, every time I feel that this is one of the most boring parts, honestly, of the game.
You have to go to all the camps?
To go all the camps and do those quests that they give you that are mainly fetching quests. And I thought, well, if since I'm not, I don't do quests, because as I said, I'm not good enough in being native English. I said, let's at least make it worth to go around those camps. So that at least you can see the differences and say, okay, yes, this camp is of warrior, I can see that. Those are more merchants, those are more poor, and so on. So at least to give a bit of flavor to the Ashlanders, because poor guys, really, they were just untouched by everything.
2 tents, there you go. Have a tent, have a rug, have a Kwama egg,
Indeed,
a lantern. There you go. In Bethesda's defense, they actually made some effort with the clothing.
Yeah, that's true.
With if you look at the common shirts and the common pants, there is one. They get 1 shirt each. Each tribe gets 1 shirt and 1 pair of pants. So
yeah, true. And they made a banner at least. So I mean, there is something. But yeah, of course, I think it could have been more. Simply that.
And hair.
So yeah, there will be.
Quickly,
you can go in
Outlander,
certain camps, and you will have some with vendors that are making cheating arrows, for example. Or you will go in another one, and it will have tents made of Silk Strider cheating legs, for example. So yeah, to give more variety to it, and also a bit more sense of staying. Because, for example, you will notice that during night, the Ashlander will gather at the fire camp. Sit there.
I did not notice. Will they do that even if if I am in the same cell?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay,
that's a part that RandomPal took care of, honestly.
Very often with the mods where NPCs are enabled, disabled, and moved around, it doesn't happen when you are in the cell. So I just move out.
And honestly, I don't know if this specific camp will do.
You mean I just waited 12 hours for nothing?
It's always fascinating to think that someone waited for 12 hours in the same place.
Yeah, can't do that in my game.
I think it's not in this one, indeed.
No.
But there are camps where they are gathering. And a bit more of an activity for them. And there is also... now I don't remember the name of the warrior camp. Oh, God.
Hang on.
I think it's the Zainab camp.
Isn't Zainab the trading? I would say.
No, Zainab is the trading. Yeah, you're right.
We have Ahemusa. Arabinism is the one south.
Quickly double check.
Oshilaku is the religious one, and Zainab is the trader. So I want to say Ahemusa.
Yes, I think it's Ahemusa. Yeah, I think you are right.
And that's where we are.
Then it's not, because it doesn't have the tent for.
This is Ahemusa.
The warrior.
Oh well, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Let's. I think is the Arabinism. Sorry.
Let's go. And so there is the Ashlander, and also you did something for the Oshilaku specifically.
Yes, so that's
spiritual?
actually how it all started. Indeed, because I did a mod, and I think it was not for the madness, but for the 48 hours. You have been transferred somewhere.
Was it the Modathon in May?
Yes, indeed, in the Modathon in May. And that was just a little mod I did. I thought that in the lore book it said that the Shilaku are the ones that believe the most about the return of Nerevar. And I thought it would have been nice to do a little religious place in a very Ashlander style, so using carcass of Silt Strider and rocks rather than more complex things. To give a bit more of spirituality, and there is a little altar to Nerevar there, and there it started. Because after the mod, actually, RandomPal came back and said, "Hey, you know what? It's really nice. Maybe we can do this more and better to all the camps." And so we did. So yeah, this is for example those little things that I like to do. This is a lamp I made out of again chitin and
looks like buckshell.
The idea is a little Silt Strider. The idea is it's a little Silt Strider carcass found.
There is someone watching.
They make a lamp out of it. Because I mean,
so now we know why there are so few Silt Striders. It's because you use their babies to make lanterns.
Well, I like to more to think that they found it and they used it for something nice, let's say, rather than do it themselves. Because, theoretically, silt are not existing in nature, free and wild, theoretically.
Unless you have Abbot's mod.
Unless you have Abbot mod, indeed. So yeah, the idea was that they found the carcass of a little Silt Strider, and they thought, well, we can use this. We can make a lamp. Because at the end, the Ashlander are very practical people, right? So why not?
Exactly, yeah. They make use of what they have. They make do with what they have. They've learned to adapt to their environment. And so you're right. If they find something useful, they're going to use it.
Yeah. And here you can see we use the legs of the cheating legs of Silk Strider to make actual buildings. Let's say the huts. Yeah, indeed, they are. Still, it's nice. No, it's useful in this way. So I think at least let's say their death has not been in vain. And and they are used for this particular tribe. So every camp have these little tweaks on the and twist on giving them a bit more of a soul. So here, for example, if you enter in the, it's on your left. If you turn a bit left, there is the big tent. And if you enter in this big tent, it's where they are actually
right here
practicing.
In the middle.
No. It was really behind you. So
sorry.
If you go, no problem.
That one.
It's that one. Yeah.
There is no escape.
So this is a training yurt, and people. It's constantly training in here, and you can find also. Some of
except this guy. This guy's not
cool
training.
Characters. No, he's making arrows and weapons out of cheat. So if you notice, they are all disassembled and ready to be assembled. And of course, those are all characters that have been done by Vidi Aquam. So she participated to this. Because those are things that drives you crazy to make positions for the NPC, animation for the NPC. So, being very happy that she gladly participated and gave
especially when she made those with a Nifscope, which as I understand it is even worse, way worse than Blender. So. Yeah.
Indeed, I have to say that I did some posing in a Sarni Baby. I did some posing of statues via Blender, which is not that hard, I have to say. But the idea, because I tried to use Nifscope and doing what Vidi did, no, it's just one of those things that it would take you a month to get closer to.
And she didn't make one, like there's like a dozen different animations for sitting lying down.
Indeed.
So. Vidi Aquam, by the way, next week on Thursday, her written interview will be published on my blog. So if you don't know about Vidi, you will. You will.
And I really think honor to her, because not many people are really willing to to do those kind of modifications due to the incredible length of time that's needed.
True. Like if we look at in the long history of Morrowind modding, Kate, who's Italian as well, I found out last week, did all kinds of creatures, including the animation. Archimestra and Taros did animations that we use in animated Morrowind and a bunch of mods, also Italian. Vidi more recently made animations. Greatness 7, I think, was working on a way to actually import existing animations into Morrowind, which would be...
We are all waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Do it, Greatness, do it. So, but you're right, like animations. Darknut also did a few animations, especially for his Greater Dwemer Ruin dungeon, with animated bridges, animated tentacles. He's done those as well. But yeah, nobody wants to animate.
Yeah, it's just, I think, so time consuming that it's not a favorite of many people. So kudos to who has the patience to go into it.
All right, we are now at, or almost at, the Orshilakos.
And Orshilako main features, again, is the... I think you need to go south.
Yeah. I know this game. I never get lost. I always get lost.
No, I didn't mean that, of course.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm honestly, I don't think of myself of a big connoisseur of Morrowind. I only finished it, I think, the main quest 4 times. In a very extended amount of time.
Twice. I did it twice, and both times I mucked it up. The first time, my dagger ore was always healing. Fortunately, I had a completely OP character with a sword that should not exist in the game, so I finally killed him like that. It was the saddest fight ever, where I clicked for 10 minutes. I was like, come on, die. He died eventually, and the second time I did it, that was brilliant though. I kicked him and he fell in the lava. The end. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't have your mod, so I was like, ah. So
that's pretty pitiful indeed.
I was like, really? Did I swear? I don't think I don't swear much. I don't think. And nobody can be a real connoisseur of Morrowind. There's so much to it, really.
Yeah, that's also true. That's really a lot, and I think also we all find some part of it absolutely their favorite, and we tend to spend more time as possible there. Like Sedanin, I could write. I could name the rock, but not of all places. Oh, we've been attacked by a very dangerous
I like
creature.
This guy praying, but protecting herself from the storm. It's like,
yeah.
Be gone. But good try. Did I really say? I apologize on being rude.
I hope it wasn't me.
Yeah, did it sound like a Khajiit? Then it must have been mucked up. Yes, thank you, Demina. That's the word I used.
Mucked, yeah, indeed.
So the spiritual, obviously, spiritual aspect.
It's a spiritual aspect to it, of course. So that's the banner of Nerevar, and the idea is indeed that they have this little place where they stop and pray. Because if they are religious and you really believe in a prophecy that one day, very far, someone will come
in a distant galaxy,
in a distant galaxy, exactly, to save you. Well, I think you would have, you would see that, right? So that was the idea, because at the end you would have been at the Shilago camp as the Zenab camp, or any other camp in Musa. They were just the same. The difference, honestly, was only the dialogue you might have with the wise woman or with the chief of the camp. But that was really that. You couldn't really get the nuances, I think. And maybe now...
You didn't get the identity of the camps.
The identity of the camps, exactly. And I think it's nice to put it in this way. Because again, they are all Ashlanders, but they are tribes, and they don't necessarily like each other. So I also like the idea that there was a reason why you had to do the quest to be named.
I agree. Yeah, I was looking at your idea with the lantern, and I quite like it. Well, looking up close, it shows that it's not really attached, but I really like the idea of taking this part of the chimes with this lantern. Like I would have put it a little bit higher and removed that bit. And when I say I would have, I don't know how to do it. Okay, I can't do it. But
I need to check it honestly, because I didn't.
That would make a nice almond shape.
Yeah, it might definitely be, because I made this mod literally in 48 hours, and might be, yes, indeed, that I made a mistake in placing it. So my apologies.
No. But I really like the idea.
The idea indeed was just to try to be as I don't know. I think that's the way the Ashlander would do it, using things they already have, and just try to be artistic in their own way about it, because it's an important place to them.
They definitely have an artistic sensibility to things.
But as I always say, I also think that Morrowind is one of those games where, honestly, even if you don't know anything about modeling or scripting or anything really,
make it quick, Outlander.
Just by using the assets that are already present in the game in some original ways, you can always create things that are actually nice and new, if you wish. And I think the lamp is one of those aspects, that you can use two different objects that are already present in the game, combine them together in a way that's never been combined, and you can get something nice out of it.
Yep. I agree. I was looking at this one, I was surprised that this one was flying and this one was not. But they are in fact different objects.
Exactly. So it depends if it kicks in or not.
Yeah. This one is heavier. It was coated with with wax, whereas that one they didn't.
Indeed. No, I think it really depends. Sometimes the other fly and the other not. The idea was to give
never
just
the same.
Yeah, to don't have the same, because it would have been strange to see two things that also flowed exactly at the same length and rhythm, you know.
That'd be weird. I agree.
So between two weirdness, which was the less evil, let's say.
Like you can't make it perfect, and if it's too perfect, it's not good either. So no, that's just fine.
Speak, traveler.
Speaking of the little shrine that I'm not seeing anymore, I did for a mod jam. I made a mod where they are little shrines to the failed incarnates of Nerevar, and
yes.
that's an Ashlander quest. Except my shrine is not as pretty as yours.
Well, don't exaggerate. I've seen it, and they're
But
still pretty nice.
Somebody was drinking while praying.
Yes, actually, it's a gift.
Oh, I see.
I thought that a bottle full of liquid that might be, now nothing, but at the time no wine, whatever, was a kind of a gift that the Ashlander would have done. Because let's say that, of course, I associate the Ashlander culture a bit to our gypsy culture, if you wish, in the modern times. And therefore I thought that they might have a different way as well of gifting their gods. So using also things that they would actually use for their own pleasure, but by privating them, because they're already deprived of everything, so they would deprive themselves a bit more to give it to as an offer to their gods, let's say. That's to Nerevar in this case.
Yeah, it's not a real offering if you're giving something you don't want anyway. Like
exactly, and I don't see them with jewels, right, or things like that. But also not with big animals, for example, like offering a guar. I think it would have been way too much.
They don't do that.
No, I like to think that they would be smart enough to say, well, better a bottle than a guar. It's still good, but it's not gonna send me to death.
The Gracelands are pretty, and this one is not even modded. This is pretty much vanilla. Ready.
Yeah, there are actually just the stand with the that you see here.
The trader.
That has been added indeed with the trader, with all these things, because of course it is said that they are way more merchant than the other tribes and more rich. So we decided to make it appear a bit more in this camp.
I really like this model, the messy rug.
Yeah.
Like I want to go there and sit on it.
Yeah, indeed. I think, and I still need to try it, honestly. Together with Ashlander to use Ashfall and see how it feels.
Yeah.
I think they might work quite nice to add your tent into the Ashlanders and pretend to be like them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
is that the gathering at night you were talking about?
Yeah, indeed.
Finally found it.
And it also this one, the little things that make sense. Why you have a fire camp if you never use it?
Agreed.
So I thought it would have been nice to give also this community sense that they surely have, since they are a very close community.
Yeah.
And again, I always find them fascinating, and they really needed some love in the game, I think. They were really mistreated at every level, in the game and outside the game.
True. Like, I think the mods that exist for the Ashlander camps are things that would add a caravaner or like transport between the different camps. That's the only Ashlander mods that I can think of.
There is actually a Ashlander quest that adds some Ashlander quest for you to do.
Alice.
Yeah, indeed, from Alice.
Purely dialogue.
Pure dialogue, indeed. Which adds some stuff to do if you want to be there and live around them, let's say. But indeed, I think that's it. On the graphical side of it and expanding, there wasn't really much going on.
That's true.
And again, we wanted to keep the vanilla feeling, so not expanding, it's not a city, it's not, you cannot make a Balmora out of their camps. So we later decided to go into those little details.
I think you and RandomPal did good, because if you made something big with 3 different shops and a playground and a pub and a swimming pool, and we're like, that doesn't work. But here it's just enough that it blends with the original one, and you have things to see and you have things to discover. So just the right amount of everything.
I also think that indeed changing too much would have denaturated the Ashlanders.
Definitely.
And what is their purpose, right? Because I think they are the other side of the medal of the Velotti culture, right? So from some side you have Vivek City and all the Velotti culture that is there for thousands of years and is a bit the governmental, if you wish, way of seeing things. And then you have those Purparaya, still though, having their roots, the real culture where all the rest come from, right? So that's also the way we wanted to read it.
It started to rain, so I'm getting out of here. And I'm going to Aldrin.
Well, also Darun, though, it's not an easy place to live, I would say, between all the cities.
Let's make it... Of course there's a storm. Get in there.
No, it's dark and there is.
Okay, that's the best weather we're ever gonna get in Aldrin. Sometimes I've got clear skies in Aldrin.
It's pretty rare, though, indeed.
Though, to be honest, I think I can cheat it from this amazing mod called Cheat Menu. It's not Cheat Menu, it's Test Menu. Let's go clear weather in Aldrin. Oh,
here we are.
It's like a whole new place. Thank you, Prof. I finally did think of it. All right, tell us about this guy.
So this was also 48 hours.
Spring Mudjam,
indeed. So the team was Redoran, and I've got
to everyone's shock.
Indeed.
Really? Who voted Redoran? Who did?
I still can't answer nowadays.
She did.
I definitely did not. And I'm not really a fan, let's say, of them. It's not the house I always choose myself. So it wasn't easy for me, honestly, to find what to do. But I really wanted to participate just to keep the momentum going, because at the time I was doing quite some mods. So yeah, then I said, okay, what do I have? And of course, I saw Scar, and I was like, yeah, that's an easy one. Scar. I mean, we all know that he was the king of the crustaceans in Morrowind, and that he has been tamed by the Ashlander at the time, and that's where Aldaron City is built around. But yeah, it was a bit silly that it had the shape of, but it wasn't really, roughly, but it wasn't really a proper crab, let's say. So I decided to add what was missing. And it went in a bit of a transformation, because I have to say I didn't make it exactly in 48 hours. So the first model was a bit more raw, let's say. But I redefined him, let's say, in then other 48 hours I've been able to actually complete it with those legs. And yeah, finish it as I saw it. And yeah, simply the idea was to make Scar as I envisioned it should have been. So a proper crab with still his... it is said in the lore that his skin is impenetrable by the even the spears of the Ashlander. So I like the idea that his container, if you wish, his skin is still there. Because it's just too it's too tough to get disintegrated by time. And here I also like the idea to add this little gate, so to add also a bit of little things that you would add to it, because at the end, imagine that you have something for ages, right? You are not gonna keep it just in the state it is. You are gonna, with time, you are gonna implement it in your CD fully. So I like the idea to do so, and add a bit of those lamps things.
I love them. The ones on the chain, like here and on the leg. Yeah,
indeed. Actually,
great.
Inspired by the armor of Ruffin, he did this. How it's called?
He did
exiled.
Quite a few. Oh, Redoran Exile armor.
Redoran Exiled armor. I was thinking to
one
actually.
One of the winners, actually, of the mod jam.
Yeah, indeed. And it is a wonderful mod, and I really like the idea, and also the lore that came with it. And I was thinking to actually do a little add-on for this mod, to use actually the left legs of the crab, and make it as a kind of a way where an exiled warrior would have to pass to, be as a ceremony to be exiled. So to add, for example, some of the papers attached to the leg, and touching a bit this part to make it as a path where this warrior exiled pass.
They would have to walk through the three arches, and once they've gone through the third one, that's it.
And you are out. Exactly. And you are out.
I like that.
So I was thinking to add this little modification, just because the idea of the armor was really cool. And then I thought, it is true. They would do that. I see the Redoran doing this, of exiling and still giving you, like, okay,
still making it a thing about it, a ceremony and stuff.
You can die for us if you really wish, and I think it would be cool to have, a bit more attention to that detail, and maybe incorporate the lore of this as an extra mod.
Yeah, that was a very cool suit of armor.
Yeah, indeed. And, reading the mod page, he explains that there are those letters that they attach to their armors that are the letter of the people, their beloved, that they will not see anymore. And I think, it is... I think it's also things that are actually happened in history, right? And I think it is nice to give this also a bit more lore and say, okay, then, their beloved... He could attach things on Scar to actually remember their beloved that have been exiled, but still with a honor for the Redoran house. And also as a memento, for the people that lives there to, don't get exiled. I mean, obey to the rules.
Also
right?
a warning to them.
Also as a warning, exactly. So, that was an idea for...
That could be an add-on. The interior, the door has been changed. I think that
yes,
was it.
Indeed, the door has been changed, but for the rest, actually, the internal and the texture has been upscaled, let's say. But for the rest, is untouched, as it is in the RR reconstruction of Scar. So actually, only the door is. I touched it because I don't know. I always find it a bit odd that everything is food, except the entrance. That has this velocity stair,
and I know has to match with the exterior anyway.
And yeah, indeed. And I just find it a bit odd, so I wanted to put everything in food. And though doing that, I noticed that the original model of RR, had a hole below the door, because that's where the stair was. So I had to a bit modify it and accommodate it. I also want to add about the crag retexture for the
Guar?
For the Guar, that indeed is also a random. Actually, this is a random pull request. I didn't want to do it. It wasn't from me. He actually really one day contacted me and says, "Hey, I used we were still at the very beginning," and he was like, "Yeah, I used the replacer for the Guar, and just I can't because they are brown." That was his problem, and it's pure vanilla.
They're a darker brown.
It's a darker brown. So so then he asked me, "I saw that you play with texture. Do you think are you able to actually make it as it should look in the vanilla game?" And I thought I could have, and so here it is. So actually, it's exactly the same texture. I only actually
back to the vanilla lighter color. I see.
Yeah, I just added the color. I maybe just worked a bit on the tail. Those how you call those kind of
the scales?
Scales. Thank you. And this kind of scales, I just worked them a bit to be, on my opinion, a bit better, let's say. But for the rest, it's all as the original mod, just the color, to match the vanilla one.
You've missed an opportunity. You should have told RandomPal, look, I'll do your texture, but the next time I come up with an idea, you'll have to accept it.
Yeah, indeed. I think actually that's something that happened in reality.
Good.
And so it is nice because going back to the acronyms of this mod, it's CRAG, which has two ways of reading it. Because one is Color Guard for Endemic of Vanderfell, which is the original mod, but the other is also because RandomPal asked gently. So yeah, it's it was just to say, indeed, acronyms. I just think of the acronyms and then I go around it.
Because RandomPal asked nicely. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Indeed.
So guys, if you ever have a request from Vegetto, ask nicely. And also, to make it more interesting, don't say, "Hey Vegetto, can I have a model for this, this and that?" You say, "Hey Vegetto, can I have a model for this, this and that?" And it will be called XYZ. And you'll have to come up with what the XYZ stands for.
Actually, well, and definitely. I also want to say that Scarface, which is the name of the Scar mod, is another name I am very proud of.
You should be. You should be.
And I always say that I'm a bit sad that there is not a prize for the best mod name in the mod jam.
If there had been a prize, you would have won it for sure.
Exactly, it's one of the few that I could win. So let's think about it.
Your mod did well. I don't remember exactly, but
they do quite well. I don't complain.
Yeah.
Indeed, I don't complain. They do quite well, and though they didn't win yet, I like to think that Telaruna would have won if there would have ever been a winner for that.
I don't know about that, Vegetto. I don't know. I think Pimp My Shrine has a lot to offer. There's a lot in Pimp My Shrine. I don't know. Yeah,
indeed, it's a good. a good competitor. But let's say I like to think in my own word that it is a bit of a masterpiece.
That for sure. And to be honest, after the Morrowind modding madness that we call madness, affectionately, after that, Dalaran Chronicle became a hot file like instantly, and it stayed up there for a long time, whereas Pimp My Shrine arrived later and didn't stay as long. So but definitely had the popular vote.
I also think that Pimp My Shrine, it's of course a mod that is way more particular than Dalaran, for example. So I think if you use it, you must be a certain kind of enjoyer, for example, of house modding, right? And
not a house mod. It's not a house mod.
No, it's more than that. It's more than that, absolutely. But I think you really need to like the idea of putting your things, right? And creating your space and those kind of things.
And amazing dungeons.
And amazing dungeons. That's absolutely true.
And lore and cool story. Okay, I'll stop.
And effects.
Yes.
Because there's also a lot of
cutscenes.
And cutscenes. And also there, we can say that's your voice, I suppose, right?
So for the voice, Zero Fox was Vernicus. And he was amazing. There's a seducer that appears. Yeah, and all I did was like I did a giggle thingy. I don't even remember, but I made her giggle.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's why I remember it. But still, I'm
surprised you remember it. I don't even think I put it in the credits, like I voiced the seducer, but I don't think I wrote it down.
I played the mod quite a lot, also to see indeed all the marvelous things that has been done via Lua and so on. So no, I enjoyed it. Still, Dalaran is one of my favorites, honestly, that we did.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
So let's say that I always like to think that is the best one, honestly. Of course, I know that the concept art Palace is the one that has the more downloads and so on, but to me it's because it's in Vivek, and of course
it's also an older mod, like it's been around for a longer time.
Yeah, absolutely, but even by projection is gonna anyway probably be unreachable by the others.
You know that's funny you mentioned that, because the modders I talked to, it was like, okay, so what is your favorite mod, like of yours? And basically everyone told me, well, my favorite mod is this one, but it's not the one that is the most popular. It's not the one that has the most downloads. Like basically the vision of the author about which one is their best mod never is the same as the vision of Nexus and people who download the mods.
And I agree. I like the concept art Palace, don't get me wrong. I would have not done it.
It's gorgeous.
And I think it's very cool. But honestly, for example, already immediately after the concept art Palace, I did the Asarni Bibi shrine.
Oh yes, we have to go there.
And honestly, I spent way more time and way more effort, if you wish, in doing it. Than the concept art Palace, for example, itself, which it looks like it is more, but only because it's a mod I worked a lot during time. But its first appearance wasn't what it is nowadays, right? So at the end, I spent way more time to Asarni Bibi, and still it didn't have the same, let's say, the same recognizement, if you wish, of the other one. And still it is, for example, to me, better than the concept art Palace itself. Especially because at the end the concept art Palace is indeed very loyal to the concept art.
So you got less of you in it.
Exactly. So from my side, of course, I liked it, and it taught me a lot because it was my second mod. And also it was a very good way to be introduced in the community, because I got contacted by a lot of modders because of it. But still, it's definitely not my favorite. Actually, I like to think even Akulakan has something more precious to me, let's say, than the Concept Art Palace.
Go ahead, Kagan. Go and ask your questions. Very welcome to do so. And by the way, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm a little sorry. We don't get the big follow welcome messages because it would interrupt Vegetto when he's talking all the time. But I did see you following. Thank you, everyone. Welcome on in. I saw you, and I'm glad you're here. And now I shut up.
And please also stop me if I go into this river of words.
No. That you're here. That's what you're here for. Talk.
So yeah, feel free to make any question. I'll try to answer my best. So yeah, this is a Sarnibibi, so that's the main road, and you can see that already at the main road I put it this little shrine.
Like that. I like the entrance, actually.
So yeah, the idea was that, of course, because I didn't want only to touch the shrine itself, but also the area a bit. And this is, for example, it took inspiration from ISO, I have to say. Now, first of all, I'm not a big fan of MMO in general. Therefore, I can't be really a lover of ISO itself, but I played it only for Morrowind, honestly, just to revive, right? The same things as when I was a kid in a new environment. And again, I think that when something is nicely done, despite the source. And the Sarnibibi shrine in ISO, it had a character that didn't have absolutely in the original game, which was actually nothing. It was literally just the shrine in the middle.
Yeah, the vanilla game does that shrine, that's it. Maybe not even a candle.
Yeah, no, nothing, just the shrine.
Yeah. Super disappointing.
Super disappointing. And especially, I think, if you are doing the 7 Shrine Race quest, and then you need to touch all the shrine. And then you really, arrive to a Sarnibibi is not that easy, because it's also a place surrounded by monsters and so on. So yeah, I just wanted to make it a bit closer to what it was in ISO. Now ISO, it is different, but he has this idea that it was an area. So you had certain different shrines surrounding the area to say, okay, that is the peak. So yeah, that was the main inspiration. Then of course I did it completely different by adding those banners, and the main thing was to add this kind of murales, which the theory, I like to think that since Almalexia is the benevolent god of the tree, if you wish, like the mother of...
She should be.
So I liked the idea to make a little murales where, you see people praying and, going to her, let's say, for ask for pities. Now, this murales, I want to say, I ripped it from an actual Roman one, so that's actually a real emboss from Roman times. But I just thought...
You mean Almalexia was in Rome?
Yeah, if you wish. And I just thought, you know what? The scene fits. And I think that it was actually the wife of an emperor that was retracted in this original one. And I thought that I could have embedded it in Morrowind and use it as... a thing for Almalexia anyway.
It works. It really works.
To reply to Kagan question.
Go ahead.
So he asked about MBlueSE and OpenMW. Now, of course, I can reply by myself. I'm not the community, and I think that all of us feel different about it.
Today you are, Vegetto. You are the community today.
I think for myself, I don't do mods with OpenMW in mind. If it works with OpenMW, good. If it doesn't and it's easy to fix, I will. If it is not, I'm not going to go crazy to make it work for it. simply because indeed it's still in developing somehow. And I'm sure, I mean, once it is 1.0, like it really works perfectly, then I will definitely use it in myself as well, though I don't yet, and therefore not using it is also difficult for me to, troubleshoot anything that should not work in it. So yeah, that's my take on it. But I know that a lot of people develop for it and use it. And according to me, it's not really MWSE because I don't use it. I'm not a coder, so it just doesn't really make a difference for me. Though I have to say that on the modding side, so for my own modding pleasure on my setup, I use still normal Morrowind because of MWSE. So yes, I'm still waiting that is incorporated into OpenMW to do the big step, I suppose.
To add to that, it's not according to people who code and know what's what. Okay, I don't. Open Morrowind will have Lua because right now it feels kind of impossible to say, nah, we don't want that. It's too good. But the Lua mods that we have, Lua, MWSE Lua, will never work the way they are with Open Morrowind, even when Open Morrowind has Lua, if that makes sense. Meaning that Open Morrowind will have Lua mod, newer ones will work, the older ones would have to be rewritten specifically for Open Morrowind Lua. So it's, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm waiting for Open Morrowind to have Lua so I can play Ashfall, but that's not gonna happen unless Ashfall is rewritten for Open Morrowind when it has Lua. But eventually, I do think I'm playing MWSE as well because the mods are just too good. But eventually, Open Morrowind is going to be the future of Morrowind.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also think it's gonna at the end be the future of it. I'm honestly also waiting a bit on what they do with the lightning and the fields of view. A bit of things. There are a bit of things in Open Morrowind that set me off, let's say, and to which I still prefer the normal engine. Even though, of course, we all know that then you go to Vive Corebonart and you are at 20 FPS. But yeah, I like to think that being a video gamer for a long time, and I still have memories of playing on Commodore 64, let's say that to me the FPS are not that impacting.
True. It's true, when you started playing with pixels this big,
exactly.
Then you don't mind, like even this is intelligent textures, so it's not extremely HD, but for me it's already quite beautiful as it is. And then Open Morrowind, the aesthetics of Open Morrowind, I do think it's a matter of habit as well. Like I guess if you played Open Morrowind for a while, you'd get used to the shaders and the lighting and those sort of things, I would say.
Yeah, I am sure. But you know, you can get used about a lot of things, also pleasant. And I think, I just think honestly that the lighting of Morrowind, original Morrowind at this very moment, it is more atmospheric, simply, and therefore I just prefer it. And since to me, as I think with a lot of people, we enjoy Morrowind above any other Elder Scroll because of the atmosphere and the setting itself, I would not change it, honestly. I just can't.
Wait and see. I think it's just it's important to be open to MWSE, Open Morrowind. Yeah, just be open to both and enjoy them. Like, you pick one, you enjoy it. I have no problem with people telling me I play with Open Morrowind and I could never play vanilla again. I'm fine with that, as long as they don't tell me, how can you play with the original engine? To each their own. And I like Open Morrowind is very cool for multiplayer, for example.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely.
So
and again, I think it has its reason, and it's going to be the future. I totally can envision that.
Yeah.
But as you, I just think that for now it just fits me better the normal engine. And again, I think I'm happy for the people to play Morrowind in the way they enjoy it. I am not arrogant enough still to say,
that's the whole point.
You should. This is the truth. Play it in this way. I think, as far as I am concerned, like an unmodded Morrowind, let's say really how it was out of the box, I don't think I really can play it anymore. Just in the sense, really, because I played so much now with the modded version that I will not really be able to go back and be amazed at the same level, let's say. Though I totally understand people, for example, that still play totally vanilla.
I'm a little jealous of that. I wish I could still enjoy vanilla, but I can't. I need all of that, all the pretty.
Yeah, I have the bit of the same. I a bit envy who can still play totally vanilla. And honestly, between the total mods and the basic one, to me it's fine. Everything in the middle, as long as you enjoy Morrowind, for me, it is good enough.
And that's why we have mods, so that everyone can have their perfect Morrowind.
Exactly, and I think that's the very cool thing of modding, right? That all of us can have a bit of his own Morrowind, and therefore, I really think I always find a bit sad when there are a bit of talk in the community about those things, because I just think, our taste. How can you judge taste?
Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I'm going to cut that point, but okay, now I'm drowning.
Yes,
however, for anything to happen, I need to find the journal update.
Yes, if you really want to see the construction of the shrine, you would have need to actually make it work via the journal, indeed.
Yeah, anyone remembers the journal entry?
But you can see the mod in general also without acting the journal. Let's make a little recap for who doesn't know. In Kartak Point, there are some works going on when you arrive to actually build the shrine.
Boethia.
For Boethia, thank you. For Boethia, indeed. And you can do the quest to build it. And of course, in this mod, it retouched completely Kartak Point. Because, in all honesty, in the original vanilla game, there is a hint of a lore saying that it's a very important place for the orcs, where their hero, Kartag, met his demise by falling from Kartak Point. But Kartak Point in vanilla game is a rock, literally a rock. It's like if their hero died falling from the bed. So we decided to touch this with the Duodinamico and to review it. And make it indeed a proper visible point, first of all, and also a place where you can actually die by falling from it. And you can also then do the quest and build the Boethia shrine, as in the original.
I've got the journal update.
I think you need to move from the cell.
Yes,
probably.
for the cell to update and things to happen. Kagan, you will find all of the mods very easily if you go. I can link it for you real quick. If you go to the Nexus, you can list the mod by authors. So I will link the page for Vegetto. However, Vegetto is also doing a lot of mods with RandomPal. So you also want to look at the mods by RandomPal, because in a lot of cases it's going to have at the very least models from Vegetto, or even more than that. Kid, I really want everyone to have fun, but you're being a bit silly, so you can keep on being silly and then you'll be gone, or you can join the conversation and talk with us, okay? This is not kindergarten, despite your name. Like that. Now I feel like a mum or a teacher, which I am, so I guess here we go. Anyway, Kagan, that's the one, and let me find...
Yeah.
Like, if you make, I'm pretty sure, if you make a search duo dinamico, and you make a search by users, that should also give, make a search. Yeah, that also gives me some mods with RandomPal, but I'll put the link for. RandomPal has 67 mods. That's quite a lot.
It's getting indeed out of hand.
Yeah, a little bit. There you go. Because Vegetto is with a double G, I think. Double G, double T, that's why. But now you have the link. The first one is for Vegetto and the second one is for RandomPal.
It doesn't come, I think, because my name is Vegetto88 on Nexus. Which has nothing to do with my birth date, just to be clear.
Well, no, because you told us you played on Commodore, so...
Yeah, I'm definitely, unfortunately.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, I'm a bit older than 88. Not that much, though.
Okay.
Just, of course, Vegetto was already taken, so I didn't want to think too much about it.
Of course. Of course, somebody already thought of a cool name like that.
Of course. So fair enough. But yes, I highly suggest to also check indeed the RandomPal page. Anyway, a lot of the mods that I do or that he does, honestly, are a bit of a contamination between both of us. So I honestly think if you like what he does, you definitely like what I do, and vice versa. The only thing, maybe my mods, and that's also the bit of distinguish that we do when we publish as Duo Dinamico. It's just simply that the mods that are more vanilla kind are published by RandomPal. The one that I feel are a bit more true to my vision are then published by me as Duo Dinamico. But also we try to share it because, to be fair, otherwise he would reach 500 mods and I would still stay on 20. Look like I'm a lazy person.
Yeah. So this is the massive new contact point.
Indeed.
And for now, there are no workers, but maybe I need to go to the next journal entry.
Yes, probably. There are several indeed. Because now, they need to have their stuff. And actually, there is also a bit of time before completion. It's done.
It says 2 weeks. Hopefully, I won't have to wait a whole 2 weeks. That would be a long, long time.
Yeah, indeed, it can take a bit of a long time.
Guys, get some food. We're spending 2 weeks in Morrowind.
Or you can disable the peak of.
Hey, I'm gonna do that. Yes.
Disabling the peak because it's only one piece, the main rock, and you can disable it and then see the statue and more or less how it looks when it's finished. Because also the scaffold at the end.
Best vacation.
And the scaffold.
2 weeks in Morrowind.
Yeah, actually the scaffold, we stay there for 2 weeks, which is nice because we have done it in a way that you can actually use them to really go above the peak yourself. Mm-hmm. In a kind that it goes all around the peak, so it's very very atmospheric if you want. It gives a bit more.
I'm sorry, my sleep has been interrupted.
Probably a cliff.
I am literally flying. Okay. So that's not just one model, is it?
No, it's actually a lot of rocks put together. Only the peak, it's one.
Let's go with this
but
one.
the entire structure is made of several pieces of rocks, indeed.
And well, I got the top off. We're getting there. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. There we go. All right, let's keep on. It's like peeling an apple. Some Tamriel rebuilt assets.
Yeah, I think you should already. I think you should already see it theoretically. Oh gosh, did you? You stopped flying.
Yeah, I instead of disabling, I TCL'd.
True. But I think you should already see now the statue. If maybe it's still disabled. I thought after the first journal entry, it was already activated.
Yeah, I only went to 16.
Yeah, I suppose it's still not activated. But nonetheless, I assure that it gets built.
Beneath all of that.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, there is also a little Easter egg in this mod, which is visible in one of the screenshots. But as far as I know, nobody still found. So up to you to find it one day. I added a little piece of armor, very hidden between the rocks, actually. It's an helmet, which I have to say, when we actually finished this mod, me and RandomPal, we finished it exactly the day when Miura, the creator of Berserker, died, so we thought it would have been nice to add a little thing as a memory, since we both really are a fan of Berserker. So we added the helmet from the Golden Age as a little trait in the mod. And it's pretty hard to find because, yeah, of course, it's not really related to Morrowind, so I didn't want to spoil it, let's say, for who is really vanilla-minded. But yeah, that was the idea out of it.
I am not getting that statue, and I did go to a different cell. That's why I was walking away from it.
Yeah, that's pretty strange because it should definitely work. We tested plenty of times.
It's funny because as I go away, all the elements that are displayed in the distant land,
they should be there indeed.
They reappear. Delta Black Point, Bitter Coast.
Let's see.
Well, I'm doing a terrible job of showcasing that mod, aren't I?
Yeah, well, it's honestly, it's a really hard mod to showcase.
I should have done the quest before.
And maybe also if you, for example, I'm sure that if you add the mod after you started the game, for example, it's surely not going to work.
Yeah,
properly.
but no, come on, disable. I'm peeling this like an onion, layer by layer.
No, but I'm quite sure you should already see it.
Yeah, so maybe.
I don't think it's a matter of rocks at the moment.
Yeah. So
really
we're gonna go with plan
figuring.
B because I want you to see what to expect. What is the acronym for this mod?
And I think the issue is also that you need to really pass through all the stages of the journal.
So taking a shortcut like that just didn't work.
No, you can't really just go on the last one and call it a day, unfortunately. You really need to go one by one.
Well, I wanted to.
But I can assure it works because this is
I know it does.
Couple of times. Because I swear that was one of the hardest things actually in this mod. I was really, more else to get the script to work properly. Renaming all, the scaffold, because every object that we added at that point had to be inserted into the original script to be disabled and enabled at the proper times.
It's a mod uploaded by Vegetto. Oh, sorry, by RandomPal.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you really need to earn it, as Xerofox says.
You know what?
Indeed.
That's fair. I still want to at least show you the screenshots. Going through all of RandomPal's mods. It's only 7 pages of it. It's okay, guys. We'll get there. For sure, at some point. The Ashlanders. That was done before the Ashlanders?
No, actually, I think Cartag it's on mine. I'm quite sure, actually, it's on my mods, not on RandomPal. Yes, it is. It is in mine.
Is there the word point in it? Or just Cartag?
It's JFK. That's maybe. If you write Cartag, if you find Cartag, you should find it.
I get it. I was searching point, but no, it's justice for Cartag.
Yeah.
I was never gonna show. Okay, guys, pretend we've just done the quest for Beothia, and she's super, super pleased because we have. Well, there we go. The scaffoldings that you were mentioning.
Yes, exactly. So, indeed, during the 2 weeks of buildings, there will be those scaffolds which can be used to, even without levitation, to go above the highest point of the peak. And yeah, it's a pretty nice view from there. And yeah, again, I want to say that we did some of our studies because someone asked, and no, it is not higher than Red Mountain. So we made sure that the size was huge, but still not too huge. Here you can see the helmet actually, that it's there.
Like that rare picture of Cartag before his demise.
Indeed.
I like that. I'm sorry. I should have taken the time to do the quest properly before. I couldn't show you, but that gives you a pretty good idea of what to expect, I think.
Exactly. That's how it's gonna look like at the end of the quest. Let's say if you finish it all, and yeah, I heard also that people are using, for example, OpenMW in public. They like this mod because it gives another point of reference. So, you can say, let's meet at Cartag Point, and now it's quite visible from afar. So yeah, that's indeed.
I found the helmet. Is that the iron helmet?
Yes, that is the helmet. You probably disabled the rock, so now it's flying in the northwest. Yeah. But indeed, that's the helmet.
So guys, I really want to stress out, this is not how the mod works, okay? This is not how you play the mod. That's on me.
And that's a model from piece of armor from Berserker that we just add it as a nice memento, I suppose. Let's go back to Vivek and talk in front of the temple. Maybe we can, as one of the final things, we can see, I think in Sedanin, you were in Sedanin, but we didn't see the windows.
Oh, yes, of course, and they're so cool. The Nord, was that Nord shut your windows, right?
Yes, the Nord shut your windows, indeed. And and maybe in the meanwhile, since they are there, but are difficult to notice, indeed there are also the cursors that I've done. So I've done a bit of everything, really. And one of the things was also the cursor of the game. So yeah, the hand, as you can see now, and also the resizing and the drop-off icon object. I just find it a nice thing to add. They are all, of course, taken from the Kagrenak tools. And I just thought that, it was nice to add a leader Kragenak-inspired cursors. And of course, again, it was to me to learn also how the cursor worked and till what point I could have pushed the resolutions and so on. So yeah, that was about the cursor.
We have a cursor. So we got windows and they are open.
the windows you are looking. So this mod, it simply got the idea from the fact that in the original Morrowind you have the shutters, but of course they are not moving. And then you can add, of course, the Melchior Dark mod.
Glow in the dark.
Glow in the dark, indeed, to make it glow, and therefore leave the glass and not the wooden shut. And I have to say, Melchior mods for a long time, but it always disturbs me this fact that I couldn't have both of the things together. So I have the glass and at the same time also have the wooden shutter, because to me it makes sense that the Norse architecture used them. And so what I did,
make it quick.
I added the shutters, which I want to say come from a mod. Actually, the shutters are a model from Rubberman, which used which he made for his own Empire revamp. Imperial. He did an Imperial set
for Caldera. I think it's for his Caldera project.
Exactly, for Caldera, and he did this shutter, which were just closed. So what I did there was to open them and make them closing only during nighttime. So this means that you can have the mix of having the shutters open and the lights filtering in during day, and during the night they would have closed, and then of course you wouldn't have any more. Now you can see they're closed.
Nighttime.
And though you can still see the glow in between them, because, for example, I like those little details myself. If you really go, you can see, yes, there is still
at the right
light.
Angle. At the right
angle, indeed. There are still light coming in, because the idea was, well, they have the lights on. You would see something filtering through. So yeah, that's a bit of immersion that I wanted to add.
Yeah. They don't close from the inside?
Speak, traveler.
No, because I thought that it would have closed it only from the outside.
Yeah, that's not like they have.
Also, honestly, to give a bit of variety, that was the sense. Of course, it would have been easy and could have been definitely done to close them also inside, but I just wanted to still leave a bit of variety, so that they would not look exactly all the same all the time.
It makes the world dynamic.
Exactly.
Which is exactly
to
what we want.
A bit more dynamic. And the only thing I've done, of course, I removed the light coming from outside during night, because outside they are closed.
Obviously. So if we were to go to a place that doesn't have Nord architecture, Northern Common architecture, such as Suran, then you see the windows are glowing because they don't close their windows.
Indeed.
They don't. Looking at the chat, Kagan, you're suggesting collaborating with Dark F Guy over the Morrowind modding showcase, and we actually do work together, particularly to organize modding events, for example. And I've voiced a couple of videos for the modding showcase as well, so we do work together. But the 3 hours interview, that's just on me. That's a lot of talking. Is it possible to randomize which windows are closed on a building to enjoy at least one or two windows glowing in the dark?
So, not for the mod as it is now. It is eventually possible, of course, to leave some open, definitely. Yes, it's a possibility. It just needs some work, because you will have to manually place some that are just like the original, let's say. But no, it's absolutely possible. So look, I will think about it. Oh, yes, they're awesome.
Another one of your mod. I told you, they're everywhere.
Indeed. Those Ivy actually have a bit of a story, because you will remember that during the community time we had this moment with all the mods from the Cozy family. They were coming from, now I don't recall the name of the mod.
Mika?
From Mika, indeed, yes. And unfortunately now they are not online anymore. But let's say that she did some very nice addition and I like their mods. And by looking at them, I noticed that she was adding a lot of the Ivy plants, which I love, but I don't really like how they were in vanilla, because in vanilla they are really, well, they are not really well done, let's say that.
It's not the best model.
It's not the best model they did. And I thought could have used a bit of a rework. Unfortunately, I have to say that time that I did the model, she was not there anymore. Actually, she got a bit angry with me because I tried to, let's say, I approached her as saying, "Hey, I think what you do is very cool, but I think those Ivy could use some more work." But I didn't did in time because, she didn't appreciate my remark. Let's say that. Unfortunately,
it's a shame.
It's a shame.
When we were talking a few hours ago, how generally speaking, modders like to cooperate together, learn from each other,
indeed,
build on each other's mod. At the end of the day, everybody wins. Modders have better mods, people enjoy more mods, but hey.
And I just think to know sometimes, sometimes I also have it. I think when you mod, you pass so many hours with something that sometimes you just take the critics as personal rather than about the mod, I think. And that's maybe what happened. But nonetheless, the pity is that, I did a model nonetheless at that point. So I was with myself and a model that I would have not used. So I said, well, since I'm here, I first created a community pack. I did all the kinds of different Ivy plans and said, okay, let's do a community pack so people can, in the future anyway, and whoever comes back, if she would ever come back, can use this model rather than the vanilla one if they are pleased with it. And then RandomPal came to me and said, hey, Lorenzo, you know what? Sorry,
I can use that.
Sorry, Vegetto. Yes, he said I could use this and remake all the vanilla Eevee and just change it with this model, which I want to say it's a lot of work because the original Eevee, they don't have a proper up and down or right and left because they are so without a shape. But they are placed just as they come. So if you put like this model and you just replace it, they are gonna go absolutely banana overall everywhere. So you need to manually replace all of them, which has been with a lot of patience by RandomPal. So here I want to say, someone asked us when we will do a Tumblr rebuilt version with the Ivy. Yes, it's too much. It's way too much.
I understand.
And unfortunately, it's impossible. This is like one of those kind of model that if you need to stay true to the sides and shape of the original one, you just cannot redo it because, simply doesn't have a real shape. While to me, of course, Ivy plants does have a particular.
It's supposed to be,
yeah. So this one was a bit more to make it more realistic, honestly, because as I said, I liked some of the Mika mods. I just found that some Eevee plants were overdone, but just not because of the idea itself, but for how the plants were. And so I wanted to make just one that were a bit more, loyal to reality.
No, I'm thinking. I'm redoing my Bard mod. There's an inn, and I did put quite a bit of Ivy on it. Like, not crazy, but quite a bit. So I'll have to see if I can use your model and place it beautifully rather than leave the vanilla Ivy.
I have to say I really like them, how they came out.
It's honestly, it looks gorgeous. It really does.
It's one of those little mods, that they don't do a lot, honestly. But weren't too much complicated to do. But I still think it adds something. I really like the way they come down now, and it really gives the sense of Ivy to me.
Like it looks like it's alive, not like a piece of bubble gum that's been stretched and stuck to the wall.
Yeah, indeed.
Something
like
like
the
that.
original run, it's really like a patch of green stretched to the infinite, indeed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just couldn't. I just couldn't anymore.
Can't do it.
Yeah, but again, I think, it depends a lot. For me, Morrowind, again, my goal is always to try to make it as modern as I can. So, yeah, to me, those are the little add-on that adds a lot to my own version of Morrowind, and
I haven't much time.
Also to the others. But indeed, I think, for example, if you're absolutely a purist and you play with the original vanilla texture and you're gonna place this ivy, or use the mod that replaced the ivy, well, it's gonna stick out. That's for sure.
Because it's too pretty.
Because, well, if you ask me, yes, but it is too complicated, let's say, for what are the original models and textures of Morrowind, I think.
You were saying at the very beginning that you're very, very busy those days. So Morrowind and modding is a bit of a break for now, or do you have ideas in your head? Like,
I have several ideas. Actually, I have a bit of a list, and I want to say that I am in break because let's say it's a very busy moment in my real life with work and everything in a good way. But therefore, I need to be really focused on that. And as you know, modding, it's really time-consuming.
Very time-consuming.
So
the exception is the mod jam. Like, it's 48 hours. You mod for 48 hours, but then it's over.
Yeah, indeed. That's true. Those 48 hours.
You've lost them. You've lost them. That's it.
I need it. Yeah, indeed. You need someone to feed you, and and prepare you the coffee to go on.
Exactly.
Absolutely true.
When I don't do the mod jam because I organize them, so I can't take part anymore.
Yeah. Very good excuse.
Not an excuse. Like, I would like to do them again, but during the madness, the roles are switched, and I need to be fed, and I wake up, I think modding, and well, you know how it is. But when Aurel is doing a game jam, which is the same thing, but instead of just making a mod, they make a game. I'm the one on feeding duty and tea duty. It's very important.
I honestly still think that the madness is absolutely the most harsh competition I think I ever participated in my life. It literally makes you dream Morrowind.
Yes. Yes, you do. It's like,
because you just don't talk about anything else and think about anything else. So it really makes you crazy.
It's crazy.
But no.
Crazy.
Especially, aside of
go ahead. Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, especially last year, because it was in December, like after the Christmas break. Indeed. The biggest thing that happened was not Christmas, family, dinner. No, it was Morrowind and making mods.
I still wonder who decided the timing for it.
Dark F guy decided.
I was like, what? But still, nonetheless, it's been a pleasure doing it.
It's fun.
It's crazy. If you participate in it, be aware that it's really something.
And the best part is working with other people, and you learn things, or you see things done in a way that you didn't think of, and
absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you have a mod. At least in my experience, the mods that my team and I made, I know that if I had 1,000,000 years, I would never be able to make those mods.
Absolutely.
But here with the team, we did it.
And many times I have to say, because that's also a truth, that it also, I would have never been able to do it so beautiful as it is. In the sense that at the end, the ideas of other people are often the right ones. We all think to have the proper idea, of course, when we go into making a mod, and we say, that's the way it should be. But many times, in occasion like the madness, confronting the different point of view with the others, then you find out that actually many times their point of view is more valid than yours. And yeah, I think many times it adds way more than what you would have accomplished simply by yourself.
Sure.
Which is honestly also the idea why me and RandomPal now, despite the two Dynamico, we always work together, because we think that aside of everything we can do by ourselves, there is always something that another person can add to it. Even being just a little detail or finding a different flavor to something. But yeah, I honestly think that that's what makes a mod better and better, and also why all my mods are open and people can build upon them and do whatever, because at the end, that's how you reach the highest highness, I like to think. And yeah, for the future about mods, I have plenty of ideas. Probably I envision from next month to actually put me back on track and restart modding continuously. Let's say that there are some candidates that I also propose to RandomPal. One is the Shrine of Azura, which I think there is already a mod that touches it.
Endoran did that.
Indeed, Endoran did it, indeed, which is very well done. But I would like to do something a bit more impactful, let's say, because his one, it's really vanilla plus feeling. So I would like to do something more big there. So that's one of...
To really make it a landmark, something that stands out.
Yes, indeed, something that stands out. Because at the end, I think that Azura is still... I mean, of course, how they say, how they call them? Not the preconception, sorry. But,
yes, anticipation.
The anticipation, thank you. Of course, they are still the anticipation now, but Azura is still the most important one.
Especially with the main quest and everything.
Exactly. And I think it would be nice to do something very cool to her shrine outside, but also inside. Another idea, of course, I'm just wondering how much it will take, is to redo the entire plantations. So to touch upon all the plantations of all Morrowind.
Thank you for saying plantation.
Give us the chance indeed to
another mod.
But that's also something I have in mind for quite some time, let's say. Also, Alma Alexia room, I would like to retouch it. And in general, honestly, I would also like to retouch the Museum of Artifacts in Mornold. So also those two places are already, for me, high in the list of needs to be retouched. The only issue is, of course, Tribunal is not really played by a lot of people. And that's bring me a bit down, because I know that I will spend a lot of hours modding it mainly for myself. But still, I really think that they need that bit of a retouch.
They do. Oh, hello. That's new.
Yes, indeed. So the idea of the plantation, now we redid the Arver plantation and the Dren plantation. So
this is Dren.
This one is the Dren, and the Dren is not really a plantation in the sense of plants. In the lore, it is said that these are kind of a ranch where they actually farm, if you wish, animals and not having plants. So I took the idea, which was also present in a concept art, not from an original concept art from the game, but from a fan art. We used that fan art and we added this little cord ranch where you can keep the animals inside. And of course, so we cluttered also a bit more the Dren plantation. Though the biggest change is done on the Arvad side. So Dren, it's really, we actually added some interior and exterior. So we made the shacks, we divided the shacks first of all and put them all in a place. And we added a place for a slave master, let's say, in the Dren plantation. And also a place where they could have dried out the netch skin and so on. And that's about the Dren. In the Arvel, instead, we completely just remade it all. So I took inspiration actually from Skywind plantation. So they made some, they presented some screenshot of actually the Arvel plantations in one of their, how they are making Skywind. And then I took inspiration. They did these terraces, terraced fields, which I always find very nice. And I think they really fit the idea of the because that plantation is an island at the end. And I think it is very nice that, I don't know, gives this kind of southern touch, that there are the terraces and so on, and makes it a bit more bucolic. Yeah, and I like the addition.
A lot of the Skywind concept art is really good. I like it.
I really like a lot of them. Now, honestly, I think I will love anyway also Skywind. I mean, as I said, to me, if something is good now, even if it deviates a bit from the original concept of Morrowind, to me it's fine. I don't judge it just because of it. I know that many don't like Skywind because at the end it's the engine of Skyrim, right? So you will have Dormark, those kind of things. But to me, honestly, I like all the Elder Scrolls.
It's a bit of shame to deprive yourself of a fun experience because you've decided that Skyrim is not good. But
because of a bit of a prejudice.
To each their own. To each their own, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a pity because I honestly think that Skyrim is still a good game. Now, it's not my favorite of Elder Scrolls, no, but it's still a good game, and I enjoyed it a lot. And Skywind itself as well, I am sure I'm going to enjoy it, and he has a lot of very cool ideas. Actually, even a Sarnibibi shrine with all the flags and the idea of those rocks that have those ropes with the flag attached to it is actually coming from a concept art that was made for Skywind. So yeah, I have to say a lot of our ideas definitely come from different concept arts, fan-made or based from a real one.
That's good. Definitely take inspiration. I interrupt you for a second. Kagan is making a good point. It is true that in the next expansions of Tamriel Rebuilt, we're going to reach eventually the city of Almalexia, and they're going to have to find a way to incorporate Mournhold as we have it. So I think as Tamriel Rebuilt actually includes Mournhold, the city, that they will, Mournhold is going to become more relevant. Then
I really hope
everyone will be looking for the new room of Almalexia.
Absolutely. I think a few days ago there was something published about it.
They announced not just one update, but 2 updates, like 2 different areas.
Yeah, and absolutely, I just looking forward for it.
For sure.
I think Tamriel Rebuilt is absolutely one of the most awesome, and I'm happy that with time it's only getting better and better. Like their last, let's say that the last addition are really to such a level that is incredible.
Agreed.
So I really look forward to see how they do the rest of the settlements. I know it's a long way because just the amount of work, it's immense. But I really enjoyed it. Honestly, it's, for me, is the Musland mod that I like the most as it is done. Together with the spires, I have to say there were these mods also made for, I think, a Madness.
The Manifold Spires.
The Manifold Spires, that's of course also one of my favorites.
Infamous mod, because it's so amazing, but also so not finished.
Indeed, and it's really a pity, and I really hope it will be finished one day. And if not, eventually, I think I will have to do it myself.
Don't say it, because then the team will never go back to it and say, don't worry, guys, Vegetto said he was going to do it.
But I really think it needs some content, because just the view of it, it's such an amazing idea.
It's gorgeous. It's just
I really think it
dropping.
will also fit the idea in Morrowind in general. Because I really think that you could do a kind, as in Skyrim they've done with the College of Winterhold. You can do something similar in the Manifold Spires, where there are the scholars of this new... Because at the end, right, you need scholars also for the religion made by Vivek. So, I think it will really fit.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Here are the terraces. Got them.
Yes, indeed.
Very cool.
So those, Now about those, you will have to use, of course, the grass patch that comes with it. So now the grass is a bit off.
Maybe I left the old one as well.
Yeah, it could be both. It doesn't really matter. It should work with the grass patch. That's indeed terraces, as I said. What I found there was a bit of a challenge with this mod, was to make the terraces actually all in the CS itself. So actually, let's say that those walls that you see, they are container, but the land is all raised manually in the CS. It was a bit of a challenge to make it so steep and still it makes sense. So it has been fun, because at the beginning we thought to go for just a model, a bit like the hills in Ashen Blights. So to make just one model that was the terraces, and that was done. And maybe would have been even...
you can have flat ground underneath.
Underneath, indeed, and probably would have been easier. I actually I don't remember who. Honestly, might have been Xerofox, but someone in the Discord was like, yeah, I'm really curious if you can make it using the CS, because I don't think it's possible. And then I was like, well, let's see if it is or not. And so it is. It is possible. Of course, you need to cover the things with something, and so I used those dry walls, which actually are model made by Svenar, or SVNR.
Who also made trees recently that are really good as well.
He did the caves recently as well, the cave models, which are awesome. To me, honestly, SVNR is one of the most talented modelers that I think we have at this very moment. Is just beyond for me, to the level of good. And I also like that he's a very kind person, and he make me use anything that he does without any problem. So kudos to him for that. And in this case, those were walls that you were using for a sedan in, so I had to retexture it to, of course, to make it the same. And I removed also the stones that were on top, so that they would have been like the wall of sedan in. And therefore I made those terraced, which add, according to me, a bit. As I said, this is an island. I think it is nice. I often found myself staying on this place just to watch the shore on the other side, and therefore with Oath, together with RandomPal, why not? It's one of those mods that not many people maybe will use, due to the fact that not many people pass in the plantations, but still is super cool. And we also thought that it is said in the lore that Dren and Arvel are the richest, and Arvel in particular with the plantation actually provide the food for almost the entire of Morrowind.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, it had literally a field that not even my grandmother would have enjoyed it.
You hear that, Arvel? You hear that?
Something needed to be done there, and so we did. And I like with these lanterns. I think also Dark Elf guy said it was the piece actually that he liked the most of of the mod. And I have to say that I like them too. I really put a bit of attention in placing all those little lamps here and there. A bit because, I mean, the Khajiit are there working also during night, and I don't think they can work if there's no light at all. And also, of course, it gives a bit more of atmospheric, bucolic.
Definitely. Those lanterns, every modder wants to put plenty of them.
Yeah.
But we cannot.
I try to don't exaggerate too much, indeed, because of FPS, but also I honestly think that, again, too much is too much.
Yeah.
The secret is in the little thing. So I can tell you that in the original, let's say in the original version of it, there were more lanterns than what you see. But I cut them down to make it a bit more, less full of lamps.
Sorry, Puzzlewell, I see your comment about the trees. Definitely look up the latest tree mods. And in particular, I'm going to take you to Seidanin so you can see one in particular. But look at the latest trees. We have some really gorgeous ones. And they're not just gorgeous, they are also quite well optimized, which is important. So now it's 8 in the evening. There we go.
Oh, well, let's say that I think
this is where we started. This is where we started 3 hours ago.
Indeed. If Melchior would have not, optimized those trees, probably we would have 2 frames per second. Because honestly, they are so huge that I am amazed that he actually pulled it out.
So we're back to the swamps and
to the very beginning.
It's not as over the top as the original mod. This is the moderate version of it, where you get to have those huge roots that look so amazing, but you still have vanilla trees if that's what you want to use.
But also there is a version
yes,
of this very mod that use smaller trees. So they are actually shrinked. For who doesn't like, indeed, they find it even those over the top.
So there's something for everyone, basically.
Yeah, indeed. So you can have the super huge of Melchior if you wish, or the cut it in half, or the normal size tree. Let's say if you really
comes
like.
in 3 sizes.
Yeah, indeed.
It's amazing.
Though of course it loses a bit. I like see the roots going in the water. I think it adds a lot of that swampy feeling. The Seidanin should.
Definitely. Yeah. It's like you want to set up your camp somewhere close to these roots. You want to do something with them. They look gorgeous. And now we have the sun rays. I also have, it doesn't really show, I have your sun glare mod.
Yes. Indeed, it doesn't really show. Maybe a bit, in the way the glare comes to you, and in the way the sun outside it's portrayed. But that was mainly a mod, honestly, that I've done because of a version of MGXE. At the time, it still had a little issue that you would have seen a more red dot in the center of the sun. And it was driving me nuts because every time you had to do a screenshot in Seidanin, which is the most screenshotted place of the game, you would have to hide it a bit, right? So that you would have not see it. And I said, no. And at the end, it's something really, I mean, honestly, it has been something that took 10 minutes because the glare of the sun, it's literally one transparent texture. That's what it is. So it was pretty easy to pull it out. I honestly don't know how how it affects. I never really made a comparison, and I should. I still think it changed the way you see the sun a bit, the crown of the sun, the outside area. But I can't really say, even myself. But it's still, yes, another thing that I touched.
No red
just
dot.
For the sake
no
of.
red dot. And to answer your question about the trees, considering the size of the trees, it is reasonably FPS friendly. I believe it uses an improved version of the speed trees. That's why I was walking up close to it, where essentially you see it's one like one sheet of. I'm not good at explaining those things because I barely understand them. But anyway,
But
it's
yes, they are. Let's say that they are two sheets perpendicular to each other.
That,
yeah,
so
exactly. Like a cross, and so that you can actually see always the right face from when you are standing. So it is a nice trick, indeed.
Honestly, it's really well done. Because when you compare to Vality's trees, which I absolutely adore, I've used Vality's Bitter Coast for so long. Like when you got closer, you would actually sort of see the tree turning, a bit like Mona Lisa. Honestly,
yeah, it follows you.
It follows you, yeah. Honestly, here you can see this one, for example. This is like one sheet that disappeared.
Yeah, indeed.
But honestly,
gone.
Honestly, the illusion is pretty good. Like,
yeah, and again, I'm sure because that's whole work of MD. Let's give to Cesar Cesar stuff. He did an awesome job, and I think we all know how good he is. So no surprise there. But yeah, I have to say it is not really. It's not easy to do it so good. Let's put it in this way.
Agreed.
And that's also why I wanted to modify the mod, because I really thought it was a shame to not have a way to use the mod without having, because they become really towers. They are enormous.
Yeah.
They even have a village on top in the original mod. So
yeah, there was a model I really wanted to do a tree house with it or something.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that way you can enjoy those trees without being too in your face. I did like the effect of in your face, but half the size. Because I couldn't see the top of the trees, which is really weird. Really weird.
I still think, again, everybody has his own taste, so I totally understand who likes the original version.
Definitely.
I did this version not to subtract anything to the original mod, which is awesome. It's just because, honestly, I couldn't use it in my own setup. Because my setup, it's not really made of things that are too much out of the ordinary, let's say. And they were a bit too much out of the ordinary, so I just made it mainly for myself. And then I thought, maybe people would use it too. You never know.
You never know. That way we have the choice. We can have as many things as we want.
Exactly. And, it's not damaging anybody. And MD is always nice and make you use anything and everything. So.
A very cool mod. Right, Vegetto, I think we've looked at most of your mods. It's possible that we skipped one. We didn't find the hammock, but
yeah, true, fair.
I believe there's a GIF on the page, on the mod page. You can actually see the hammock swaying a little bit. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm sure people will be able to see for themselves or possibly imagine for themselves. That should be fine.
Yeah. And to reply to Kagan, there in the original mod of MD, there are also replacers for the vanilla trees, so that they do not clash against those ones. So that has been taken in consideration. So if you wish, you can indeed change also the trees, the vanilla trees, so that they fit those big trees as well.
What he said. There's something for everyone. I think that's the bottom line. We have so many mods and so many good modders that everyone can have the Morrowind of their dream.
Yeah, Yeah, that's at least one of the goal.
that is one of the goals, exactly.
As accessible as possible.
I don't think we'll ever have, I mean, personally, I will never have the Morrowind of my dream because there's new mods all the time. And then of course, I hit a limit, like I'm below 10 FPS. I was like, okay, no, that's it. I have to stop adding mods. And then 10 years later, I have a new computer and I'm like, yes!
I think I go in phases, right? There's the bloating phase where I start adding, and then I'm like, okay, maybe 345 is a bit too much. And then I need to start trimming down.
Yeah. Last Thursday, I was doing permadeath and we looked at my mod list, thanks to Abbott's mod, and I'm close to 1,000.
Yeah, I have to say that
I need help. I need help.
I was around 450, but I cut it down last week to a decent 236. Also merging, of course.
Whereas my install, nothing is merged, so you can see every plugin and every Lua mod. But
yeah, no, mine, as I say, I call it a little Frankenstein. Yes, it's really which I like. I like also the idea that nobody will ever have my same setup because it's just so modified and
it's very unique.
It's
and
really
the cool
crazy,
thing when you add mods, like typically you add them faster than you play them. Like you install a few mods, you play and you kind of forget about them, and then you find something new and you go, oh wow, what's that? And you sort of discover it. And the best part, sometimes you find something and you go, oh wow, what mod is that? And you look and it says Morrowind. You go, okay. It's like, I never knew about that. Again, on Sunday, I discovered another bag with gold in it. And I was like, yay, Morrowind vanilla game, still discovering it.
Yeah, but absolutely. Honestly, there are certain places sometimes that I never really touched, even myself on the vanilla experience. And then I go there and there is a mod that modified it. And I ask myself, oh my God, is this the real Morrowind or not? I don't think so. And then I go and check, and indeed it's a mod, especially on the remotest area, let's say.
They did a few good things in the game, for sure.
Absolutely.
Vegetto, thank you so much for giving us a tour of your mods and telling us, you know, your thought process and the story behind the mods. That's always super, super cool to hear.
Yeah, all my pleasure. And I invite anybody now knows how to search for me on the Nexus. So any ideas or collaboration or whatever, feel free to reach me out, of course.
Khajiit mod. we want a mod with voiced Khajiit.
Can be done. So feel free to contact me also for a Khajiit mod.
Yes. A Khajiit companion.
A Khajiit companion can be done. Absolutely.
Like I want your voice to follow me when I'm playing.
I would be more than pleased to do so. And someone is ringing at my door. That's the thing of reality, I suppose.
Real life.
Yeah, real life going on. Yes. I thank you, Danae, for having me.
My pleasure entirely. Guys, I really do recommend you check out Vegetto's mod. You'll find them on the Nexus. Do join the Morrowind modding community because that's where all the cool kids hang, I guess. No, I mean, yes, but mostly you can talk with the modders. They're always happy to help, you know, troubleshoot your game, understand the mod and what's working, what's not working, pick the right mod, make your own mod. It's a cool place to be, okay? So go there.
If you go on Discord, you can find me as Vegetto there. So feel free.
Double G double T.
Is actually single G double T.
Single G. Okay, good.
Single G double T. You'll definitely find me there, and feel free to just drop by for anything related to Morrowind.
What he said.